There, good morning. It's 6 a.m. and it's time for the morning news on 3FM 92.7. We're coming to you live from our studios at Adesawe Kanda. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. Coming up this morning, legal vacation under fire as lawyers sues AG and CJ over practice. Also in this bulletin, Chair of the Mines and the Energy Committee during the AXA deal, Alhaji Amadu Sorogo, breaks silence and denies any wrongdoing.
Member of my committee received anything. So those who are saying that money is exchange, we are challenging them. They should come and point. This is the one who took it. Maybe I can then go and demand my shares. I don't know.
Plus, Electoral Commission to review CI 127 to strengthen results transmission and management ahead of future elections. We've got details of these and a whole lot more for you. Don't go away. Thank you for keeping your dial here on 3FM. Now, a legal practitioner, Elom Kwamigoni, has filed a suit at the High Court in Accra challenging Ghana's practice of legal vacation at the Superior Courts of Judicature. Mr. Goni argues that the suspension of court sittings during legal vacation, particularly at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, causes undue delays in the hearing and determination of cases and restricts litigants' access to justice. He is asking the court to declare the practice unconstitutional, arguing that it is inconsistent with several provisions of the 1992 constitutions, including the constitutional guarantee of a fair hearing within a reasonable time. He's also challenging Rule 61B of the Court of Appeal rules and Rule 82 of the Supreme Court rules, which provide for the suspension of sittings during the 2-month legal vacation. The plaintiff is consequently seeking an order striking down the provisions to the extent that it permits the suspension of the courts and wants the Chief Justice directed to put in place administrative measures to ensure the continuous availability of the Superior Courts for the timely hearing and determination of cases even during periods designated as legal vacation. In a related development, lead counsel for former National Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Edubuahin and his wife Angela Ejebuating Samuel has justified his reasoning to absent himself from court proceedings on Tuesday, August 11, despite the Chief Justice's directive for the court to proceed with the case, albeit legal vacation. Atachia explained that he simply absented himself from court due to legal vacation. Speaking on TV3's Daily Brief, August 11, 2026, he noted that a legal vacation has been set aside for lawyers to rest after actively engaging in trials and will uphold that practice. According to him, only emergencies and consequential motions can be heard during legal vacations and not main trials, insisting that virtual meetings are being held even in such instances. He adds he will not show up in court on August 17 for the next hearing.
I'm not going to court at all. But what is informing that? Why should a judge in a very technical case of this nature that a man's lawyer is on vacation and the judge is saying that if your lawyer doesn't come, go and find another lawyer. But he's saying that you come and stand there and cross-examine. How can a lay person, cross-examine in such a matter? You are asking a carpenter to go and do a surgery. For what? Why should I go to court? What is the meaning of legal vacation? What is special about this case? Some of these things you are failing to answer. And I know they can't answer. What is special about these cases? When we try these cases in the vacation, the inflation of Ghana will go down. What are we saying?
You just heard the voice of Samuel Atachia. He's the lead counsel for former National Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Edu-Buahin. Now, we move on because the Electoral Commission of Ghana says there is a need to address the challenges encountered during the 2024 general elections. The Commission's Director of Electoral Services, Samuel Dotokwa, says the Commission plans to introduce policies and measures to ensure that the challenges experienced during the last election do not recur. He disclosed this at an inter-party dialogue organized by the National Peace Council.
We have to come out with certain policies and plans to ensure that we are not going to entertain what happened in 2024. And the first thing that we have to do, if you look at collation centers and the way and manner people disrupted ballot papers, results forms, because at that time, we're not having any portal where the scan results can be sent. So going forward, Commission has plans in place to ensure that.
We'll move on because the President, John Dramani Mahama, has approved new appointments and reassignments as part of a reorganization of the National Security Council Secretariat. The changes affect key positions in operations, intelligence, logistics, and special investigations and take immediate effect. A statement that has been signed by spokesperson to the President, Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachifosu MP, noted that these appointments and reassignment take immediate effect. Now, the appointments are Major Retired General William Yamdo, who is a former Chief of Army Staff and is appointed Deputy National Security Coordinator. Now, if you go onto our website, 3news.com, we have all the appointments and reassignments enlisted there. We move on because the chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee, Alhaji Amadou Sorogo, has denied any wrongdoing on his part and his committee during the AXA deal. Reports from a U.S. jury on the AXA deal indicate some $46,000 was allegedly distributed some 18-member committee and some MPs as part of bribe to facilitate the deal. But speaking on Hot Edition on 3FM, Alhaji Sorogo says that cannot be true.
My sister, if somebody says after the ratification, where is the? I don't understand what is meant by bribery. Because I know that none of my members, because I as the chairman, I never received anything. And I don't know. So those who are saying that money is exchanged, we are challenging them. They should come and point. This is the one who took it.
That's Alhaji Amadou Sorogo. He's the chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee. On his part, a former member of parliament for the Tamale Central constituency, Inusaf Hussaini, is calling for a regime to regulate contributions made by outsiders towards the work of committees of parliament as part of efforts to reduce corruption.
The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act makes such payments corrupt activities.
Right.
Because you, the beneficiary of the agreement, are facilitating the approval. And you ought not to facilitate the approval. Now,
that's Inusaf Hussaini. He's a former member of parliament for the Tamale Central constituency. The National Peace Council says there is a need for political parties to have a common focus to protect the peace of the country. Speaking at an inter-party dialogue, the chairman of the council, Most Reverend Emmanuel Kofi-Fianu, noted that political parties and their supporters must be mindful of the inflammatory language as the country strives hard to sustain its peace and democracy. Here's more in this report.
The dialogue brought together political parties, civil society organizations, and development partners to reflect on how Ghana can strengthen its democratic institutions and sustain the peace it has enjoyed. Speaking on the state of the country's peace, board chairman of the National Peace Council, Most Reverend Emmanuel Kofi-Fianu, explained that Ghana continues to be a peaceful country. However, there are still some gaps that need to be closed.
Before we go, the Ministry of Health has rejected claims of a shortage of antiretroviral medicines in Ghana, saying the medicines remain available at designated health facilities across the country. The ministry's response follows a statement by the Network of Persons Living with HIV in Ghana, which raised concerns over the availability of ARVs. Rhoda Kofi is with NAPLAS Ghana.
Currently, we don't have even PrEP that is used for prevention. Telolami that is even used for prevention is totally out of stock. That one, they are not even rationing it. So it means we are not preventing.
Now, but the spokesperson for the ministry, Tony Goodman, in a Facebook post on Tuesday, August 11, 2026, said it is not accurate that antiretroviral medicines are unavailable in the country. He rejected the claims that ARVs have expired at the ports, explaining the reasons for the delays.
The way it works is that you would do the procurement through the various funders, like the Global Fund and the rest. It goes through a process. It's consigned in the name of the Ministry of Health, and then it's cleared. It is that period, the period it arrives, and then the process is going through finance, waiver here and there. It's that process that delays a bit. In the past, you can have this at the port for about 6 months or a year. That is a thing of the past, except this particular one. I will try as much as possible to reduce the bureaucracy so that we can have it cleared.
That's a spokesperson for the Ministry of Health, Tony Goodman, speaking to 3FM much earlier. And that's it for the morning news on 3FM 92.7. Don't forget to check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Christabel. Success Trevor. Business is up next.
Three FM.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the business news on Sunrise. Coming up this morning in this bulletin, Ghana's trade in goods soars to $52.5 billion in 2025 from $6 billion in 2004 as gold strengthens dominance and Asia becomes key trading partners.
Everything Ghana sold to the world and everything Ghana bought from it came to $6 billion US.
Also, UPSA senior lecturer says oversubscribed Treasury bill auctions signal limited investment opportunities.
Investors are now targeting more of a safety asset. That is why they are moving more into government treasury bills.
Plus, Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, SEMSI, demands disclosure of all power purchase agreements since 2013.
Future contracts must be published or disclosed to ensure transparency and accountability in the signage of PPAs in Ghana.
I'm Christabel. Success Trevor will bring you details of our headlines and other stories shortly. Stay with us. Ghana's trade in physical goods has expanded significantly over the past 2 decades, rising to $52.5 billion in 2025. The latest Ghana Statistical Service review also shows Ghana has increasingly moved from the trade deficits to surpluses, while gold and Asian markets have become more important to the country's trade performance.
Ghana's trade in physical goods has grown nearly ninefold over the past 21 years, reaching $52.5 billion in 2025 from $6 billion in 2004. This is according to the Ghana Statistical Service's latest review of the country's trade performance between 2004 and 2025. The report shows Ghana recorded a trade surplus of 148.3 billion cedis in 2025, up significantly from 44.7 billion cedis in 2024. Gold remains the country's dominant export, accounting for 63.1% of total exports in 2025, compared with 38.5% in 2004. The share of cocoa beans and cocoa products, however, fell from 29.3% to 14% over the same period.
In 2004, everything Ghana sold to the world and everything Ghana bought from it came to $6 billion. Last year, 2025, that figure was $52.3 billion, 9 times bigger.
The report also highlights a major shift in Ghana's trading partners, with Asia accounting for 50.1% of exports and 48.4% of imports in 2025, making it the country's largest trading region. On the import side, mineral fuels and oils accounted for 25.7%, followed by vehicles and automotive parts at 15.4%. The GSS is urging greater value addition, diversification of exports, and stronger support for businesses seeking access to international markets.
Senior lecturer at the University of Professional Studies, UPSA, Accra, Dr. Eric Boachi Adams says the government's 7 consecutive oversubscribed Treasury bill auctions point to limited investment opportunities in the economy. He says the trend suggests investors are increasingly turning to government securities due to the lack of attractive alternatives in the private sector. Dr. Boachi Adams' observation comes off the back of government scoring 7th straight oversubscription in last Treasury bill auction.
The continuous oversubscription of the Treasury bill rate for this past week, months tells us there's not much investment options for businesses, and it also shows the risk tolerance for investors, that investors are now targeting more of a safety asset. That is why they are moving more into government treasury bills. You know, if we look at the treasury bill rate from the beginning of the year, started around 11%. Currently, we are doing around 5.76%, although that's falling. But yet, the appetite for treasury bill investment keeps going up. It shows that investors are rather more comfortable giving to the government than giving to private sector.
The Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, CEMSI, has called for the full disclosure of all power purchase agreements, PPAs, signed by Ghana since 2013. Executive Director of CEMSI, Benjamin Nsia, is of the view the contracts must be subjected to public scrutiny to ensure value for money.
Nsia's comments come in the wake of the Aska energy bribery saga, which has renewed concerns about the processes surrounding the negotiation and approval of power contracts. Revelations from a United States court case have exposed weaknesses in Ghana's systems for protecting the state's interest in contracts signed with independent power producers, IPPs.
Future contracts must be published or disclosed to ensure transparency and accountability in the signage of PPAs in Ghana. Information available to us indicate that at the time that the AXA contract was signed, Ghana's excess capacity, even in terms of dependable capacity, was more than 40%. We were beyond our reserve margin, and for that matter, there wasn't a need for us to have signed the AXA contract as an emergency contract.
Government is being urged to review power purchase agreements since 2013.
Ensure that any of these contracts that doesn't guarantee value for money is terminated. The capacity charge of AXA at the time was the 3rd highest, which is around 4.5 cents per kilowatt hour, only lesser than SEM power and car power. The consumer has always paid for some higher price of tariffs because of some of these engagements.
CEMSI stressed that greater transparency in PPAs would help protect public resources and ensure that future energy agreements serve Ghana's interests.
Artificial intelligence could help developing countries achieve in a decade what might otherwise take a century. That's according to the World Bank's World Development Report 2026. The report says AI presents major opportunities to improve healthcare, education, agriculture, public services and business productivity, but warns that benefits will depend on closing gaps in electricity, internet access, skills, data, and institutional capacity. It notes that while 4.5% of jobs in developing economies are at risk of automation by generative AI, 16.2% could experience significant productivity gains. The World Bank is urging developing countries to first adopt available AI tools, adapt them to local needs, and gradually build capacity for advanced AI developments. We'll now take a look at how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and how some of key commodities are also faring on the global market.
The interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar is selling at 11 cedi 74 pesos. It's lost 3 pesos. The British pound is selling at 15 cedis 86 pesos. It's lost 6 pesos. The euro is selling at 13 cedis 55 pesos. It's also lost 5 pesos. However, be guided that these figures will be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $89.10 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,369.06 per ounce, down by $21.89. Cocoa is trading at $5,654 per ton, down by $2,708.
That was an update from the Forex and commodities markets, and that'll be all for the business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. I am Christabel Success Trevor. The rest of the team are on standby. Stay with us.
Thank yous to Christabel Success Trevor for helping us with the 6 a.m. news as well as the business news here on 3FM 92.7. It's exactly 23 past 6 here on the 3FM Sunrise, and boy am I glad to welcome you once again to the 3FM Sunrise. It's midweek, it's a Wednesday, the 12th day of August 2026. From now till 10 a.m., myself, Patrice, Amegashie, Helena Piampofuke, Codjoe, and the rest of the guys will be stationed to serve you nothing but the best in terms of breakfast. We kickstart it all every morning here for you with a kick dose of a message of motivation, after which we get into other important and pertinent matters for you. We'll get you the weather update, and today it's important because I got an indication of a storm of some sort, right? And so I'll get you details of that pretty shortly after the message of motivation, after which we get into some great music. We return with newspapers for you here on the show, amongst other things. But you're an important part of the show. That's why I always entreat that be a part of the conversation. Send us a WhatsApp message, 053-220-0927, 053-220-0927, and I will do the reading of those messages for you. We're streaming live on Facebook. Our handle is 3FM927. Just go on to Facebook, search for 3FM, follow the page, and you catch the stream. You can leave a message there for us as well, and I'll read it for you. Same for YouTube, right? When you go onto YouTube, just search for 3FM 927. You'll find the handle. We're streaming live there as well. You can send a message and we'll do the reading for you. We're live on other affiliates across the country. Kesmi 107.1 FM in Tamale and W93.1 as well in Wa. You find us live there for you as well. Let's get into our message this morning. And it's something I've titled The Grace of Changing Your Mind. Right? It's a part series as to a message I'm sharing this week. Now, there comes a moment, right, where sometimes quietly, when an old opinion no longer makes sense. The evidence has changed. The circumstances have changed. And even sometimes, the person with the opinion, they've changed. And yet, there can be uncomfortable resistance to admitting these set of facts. Because saying I was wrong can feel sometimes like a surrender. And so we find ourselves continuing in the argument. Not necessarily because the argument is still convincing, but because pride has become invested in winning that argument. That is where changing one's mind becomes a quiet act of courage. It takes very little strength to hold an opinion simply because it has always been held. However, it takes considerably more to examine it honestly and say, I know something now that I did not know before. That sentence should not be embarrassing. It should be evidence of growth. A child is expected to outgrow yesterday's understanding. Adults should have the same permission. New information should be allowed to rearrange old conclusions. Experience should be allowed to correct assumptions. And wisdom should be allowed to make some former certainties uncomfortable. The Bible itself gives us a picture of this kind of transformation. The Apostle Paul, and I often quote him, right, because there's an adage in Chi, Paul Ambantem Abasi Dikanfo, because he wrote, all right, Paul wrote a lot. And he writes about moving from the understanding of childhood into maturity. Growth, by its very nature, requires leaving some things behind. Not every change of mind is wisdom, of course. Conviction certainly matters, and principles are very important. But they are truths worth standing firmly upon. However, there is a difference between standing for a principle and standing beside an opinion simply because admitting an error feels humiliating. A mature mind doesn't need to win every argument it once made. It can revisit. It can reconsider. It can apologize. It can learn. And perhaps one of the most liberating things a mature person can say is, that was my understanding then. I understand it differently now. There is no shame. There is no performance. It is just growth. Because changing a mind is not always abandoning who someone was. Sometimes, more often than not, it is evidence that who we are becoming has learned something worth knowing. And that is the message of motivation that I will leave us with for this morning. Now, there's a moderate to heavy rainstorm expected over part of northern Ghana, right? So you can go on to meteo.gov.gh to read all about it. But they also add that places within Upper West and the Savannah region will be affected by a rainstorm with thunderstorms and rain of varying intensities during the morning hours, and portions of the transition belt are also expected to experience this rainstorm. And so be on the lookout for that. So the rainstorm is predicted to affect the northern transition belt earlier. It's currently engulfing the Upper West, Savannah, Bono East, and portions of the Bono region. It is expected that the aforementioned regions will continue to experience thunderstorms of varying intensities for much of the morning, and residents are advised to take necessary precautions in that regard as well. For the rest of us, what are they saying? The rest of us, they say this morning, mist fog patches over places along the coast, forest and mountainous areas in the early hours. Sunny intervals is expected to be experienced over most areas during the afternoon hours, with isolated thunderstorms over or rain over the transition and northern sectors. With that out of the way, let me say good mornings to Patrice.
Yeah, good morning.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, great to be here this morning.
Small.
Yes, well, you know, I wanted to feel on top of the world a little, and that is what drowned me. So it is lessons well learned, and I'm never going to repeat that. You know, sometimes you try to follow the pleasures of your instincts, and then you decide to do something out of the normal, which usually I do. But I think I just did this at the wrong time with the wrong combination.
You enjoyed some wrong combos, which decided to teach you a lesson or two.
Just a little lesson, and it was very devastating yesterday. But I mean, knowing a few remedies, knowing a few remedies, and water is the king of all remedies.
Dr. Patrice.
Knowing a few remedies, I just had to entertain water, volumes of it, and then I drowned myself in it, and here we are. Even yesterday, I was a little bit better. Later in the day, so it's good. It's good.
Great to have you. That's Patrice. We'll get into the newspapers in a tad, but right now we're going to do some great music. Kind Ketty DJ Phil.
Yeah.
After which we return, we'll get into the papers, online
$1 million
portals.
Phil.
Phil is taxing you for a time.
Let me see if I can do something for Phil this morning.
So no, you go
I
and
said,
play
let me see. Just attendez and pay.
do the music. We'll get into the music, after which we'll return. One Lord Amwabe on the social today. Charlie Lord, the bread also. Swallow a few loads of bread. Well, let's get into the music, and we'll get into some more for you here on the show.
Just
expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice. Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Pearl to Kumasi. Hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice. Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Kwao to Kumasi, hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected, one national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis, group of 10, 1,600 Ghana cedis, group of 5, 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm, discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice for Telly Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. from Accra through Pearl to Kumasi. Hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice. Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Pearl to Kumasi. Hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice. Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Pearl to Kumasi. Hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice. Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Pearl to Kumasi. Hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice. Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Pearl to Kumasi. Hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana in motion. 28th and 29th August. To register or participate, call or WhatsApp 0531 100927. Single 200 Ghana cedis. Group of 10 1,600 Ghana cedis. Group of 5 800 Ghana cedis. 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026. Ride the rhythm. Discover Ghana. Loading. Are you ready? 3FM Tour to Ghana 2026.
Brought to you by You Fresh Juice. Fratelli Calipo.
2 days, 3 regions. From Accra through Pearl to Kumasi. Hundreds of kilometers of rhythm, road and discovery. Hundreds of riders expected. One national journey. This is more than cycling. This is Ghana.
Good mornings again to Patrice K. Codjoe's joined us in studio. I'm sure Helen Apiampofo is lurking around the shop somewhere. Gentlemen, good morning once again.
Good morning.
Okay,
and good to have you.
Yeah. Your night was good. My night was very short, I have to be very honest. I didn't sleep till almost 1 o'clock.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that's quite strange. Why, were you listening to anything sports?
No, I haven't listened to any sports podcast in a very long while.
That is too bad, because sports people listen to you. I can tell you.
I haven't listened to
you
a
know
sports
the sports
podcast.
minister listens to you.
Yes.
Kofi Adams. Kofi Adams listens to you.
Kofi Adams. A very good morning to him as well.
And also the GFA president, Kate Odegbami Okriku.
Good morning to you, Mr. President.
Yes, his name is Kate Odegbami
Okraku.
Yeah. So Kate is listening to you.
Odegbami.
Yeah, Odegbami. Yeah.
That's a Ghana name, right?
Yeah. So check it out.
You know the Ghans and I mean the originally Ile-Ife in Nigeria, and so sometimes when you hear the names, it's because immediately I was like, that sounds Nigerian. Then I remember, okay, the true origins of the Ghana people is from.
But
that's what we
it's from Impring Ikropong.
Oh no! In fact,
they're related.
Yes, that was what I was going to say. Because even there's Ghana that's far away in eastern region and different.
Because of war.
That's why there was these arguments as to Tete Kwashi's true origin and all of that.
It was war that the Ghans helped. The Ghana people helped to fight, so they helped push away the Asante all the way through to almost Kofodia. That's why. You have those places.
You have Gans and Ganland in all of those places. It's very interesting. Sometimes I feel like what we study through, not sometimes, I feel as though what we studied through basic school all the way doesn't do quite enough justice to the sort of rich narratives involving the respective tribes and all of that.
And you need to blame us, those of us who have gone through it and now realize that there was a lot more that was not written. What have we done about it? So I'm equally guilty. Just like
the
you.
The Gomwa man himself is very guilty.
Exactly.
I'm not, unfortunately.
No, you should be very guilty.
Have
you written a book?
Fortunately, I'm not.
Have you written a book?
Because in my case, you know, I have responsibilities I cannot run away from. You know, sometimes we wear 2 or 3 hats.
Yeah.
You know,
have you written a book on Gomwa?
No. You see, listen.
Yes.
You need to listen, Patrice.
Okay.
You don't have to write a book to articulate your history.
That is not what I am saying.
No, I'm telling you.
Document is something.
I'm telling you that you don't have to write a book to articulate your history. And I don't have to tell you I've written a book to write one. You see, there are certain things that grow over time.
Yes.
And writing a book is not a walk in the park. You are talking about the history of a people.
Yes.
You need to very well understand. You need to be well researched to commence a project like that. So it's easier to ask. I mean, have you written a book like that? Maybe you should find out more.
As to the contributions
about my contributions.
I'm not looking at the contributions.
Traditional area.
What Egbeta said was that history that we read back.
I'm not just an indigent.
Not,
Patrice, listen. I'm not just an indigent. I'm a son of a paramount queen mother. Patrice, listen. So my responsibilities go beyond
just history,
and just writing. You see, there's a lot more that some of us do. We advocate for peace, reconciliation. We advocate for chieftaincy,
but I think
dispute
the
resolution.
argument Patrice is
we
making,
champion our historic narrative.
Please,
you should visit
now he's
the
mentioning,
Boca Fante
he's mentioning the part we want to hear. Championing
so
history.
It's easier to say. It's easier to say, but I'm sure today, if you want to find out a lot about Gomwa's history, there's no one who has written more on it in recent time than myself.
Okay,
so
in recent
I'm
time.
saying that it's important that, you know, it's not just about writing a book.
For me, I think documentation is very essential.
And these days, documentation takes digital form as well.
Good.
So you know, let's not limit it to writing a book.
When I say write a book, we have e-books. So those are books that are written, that are converted to that one. So there's a gentleman called Niguate. When Niguate tells you about the land, you will marvel at the wealth of knowledge
I'm hearing
that he
about
has.
him. I'm hearing about him for the first
time. Niguate is solid.
And you'll be surprised if I tell you about the relationship between Gans and Gomwes.
Yes.
We see them as our paternal
But what about
family.
what's the name? Not Englishy. Jamestown.
Yeah.
You know Durampo. You know how it moves from the coast all the way to that. So there's a relationship.
It's not just a relationship. They are our family members.
Great.
Yes. They are
so
family
that is what
members.
I'm aiming at. What I'm saying is,
you'll be surprised that the
premise,
drum, the Odadao drum,
yes,
that is beaten,
yeah,
to commence the homo or to cancel the ban on
to cancel the ban on drumming and noise making.
Yes. Was gifted to the Gans by the Gomwes, by our ancestors. So you see,
where can I find this information?
It was a point I was actually going to make.
You will find it.
You see, my point is that
if you research it, you will find it. These are not everyday narratives that you see in news cycles.
Every day.
So that is. So I'm going back to the premise, the beginning. So Egbeta said something that these were things that reading history in school and all that, and I
mean,
just
these days even history
exactly.
is not necessarily
part of it's not part of it. But that is so wrong. Yes. It's an orchestration.
But there was an initiative under the Ekufuado administration that
to bring it back.
I must commend. They started the state books project.
Yeah,
you know, and it is to capture the history of various traditional areas. You see, yes, it's easier to say it should be taught to everybody, but Patrice, first, it must be consolidated, because, I mean, I'm looking at my history, for instance, the history of Gomoa, or the history of Pando, for instance, and you realize that it is scattered. So first, it must be consolidated, and that's why I'm commending the previous government, the administration, for that initiative, because it has helped traditional areas and traditional councils organize their history, consolidate their history, so that now with that it can form part of the next phase of the project, which is integrating it into our
academic calendar,
academic curriculum.
Yes, so that is where we have reached. Welcome to the Queen. And yesterday it was very exciting. I'm being very honest. I got lost as to who I was listening to when the launch of the Tour du Ghana was. Yeah, I came this morning. I asked who was the MC, and the name that came out was Her Royal Highness. Congratulations, congratulations, and it was fantastic. I was monitoring it on radio, and it was fabulous. I don't know how I missed it, but I couldn't. I couldn't pin the voice to you until this morning.
Okay, I was using my MC voice.
Well, perhaps, but I mean, that was fabulous. It was. I was just wondering, who is this? Who's speaking and all that? Anyways.
But
good morning and welcome.
Yeah. Good morning. So yesterday we officially launched the
3FM Tour
du Ghana. Very, very excited. And we had the Minister for
Sports and
Recreation there, and we said to him, we're thankful you're not just the Minister for Football, because that seems to be the only sport that dominates, and we know that Ghanaians are passionate about other sports. So things like Tour du Ghana truly excite us, where we can branch out beyond football, because we know as a people we love to swim, we love tennis, we love golf, a myriad of sporting activities. I don't know why we constrain ourselves always to the football. And this year, of course, it's a 2-day bonanza. We're riding from Accra to Kwewu, and then from Kwewu to Kumasi. How far can you ride, Mawuena? If we give you bicycle right now, how far? How far can you go?
How far can you go?
Okay, I'll get to Kwewu with the team.
Okay, Codjoe, I'm still talking about riding bicycle.
I'm a cyclist.
This how far can you go? I'm
a cyclist.
I'll go to Kwewu. I'll go to Kwewu.
Yes, and people who know Kay personally will attest to that.
I see.
I mean,
is this cycling that I know, or there's another cycling you are talking about? Because with Kay Codjoe, it can always mean something else.
No, he has a bicycle. He has a bicycle.
All right.
Yes, I do.
But I'm sure I can do Kwewu.
So how far you can go to Kwewu?
And Kumasi might be a stretch.
But the furthest I've done is maybe about 20 miles.
20 miles? Where did that take you to?
From Gomoa Kwamkrom to say Winneba Junction, Porton and Porter, that stretch.
Okay. 20 miles. Decent.
I have ridden a bicycle from Accra to Paga.
But this was longer. The one you guys did was a longer route. I think.
Oh my goodness.
The other day,
Patrice
there was some news
is
on it.
he's taking a
Last
bike
year.
from here.
No, I'm talking
You
about
mean a
this year.
motorbike?
How many?
No,
how many
motorbike,
miles?
bicycle.
You were
I'm not
cycling.
sure, but
How
it's
many
going to be
days?
long.
Yeah.
Oh, they are not listening to me. You see,
Apologies,
these are some
Patrice,
of the
you
things.
rode
Yeah,
from Paga.
From Accra to Paga.
I don't
And
believe
back,
that.
bicycle.
I don't believe that. I'll be very straightforward. I don't believe that.
But that was one of my very easiest rides ever.
You know, but Patrice has a time machine. So
maybe he was.
Patrice has a time machine. He was
Really?
teleporting.
Sadly, I don't know how to ride a bicycle.
Oh, really?
Really?
It's
That's
too late for
surprising.
me.
Oh,
Very
it's not.
surprising.
wow.
It's never
Yeah,
too late. Get on the ride now.
No.
Yeah, it could be, but I mean, I rode from Accra to Paga. I mean, that's very easy. So when I heard they were going to Kwewu and Kumasi, I was like,
Oh.
this one
Coco, this
is
Coco
below
for
my
you.
pay grade. Nah,
Oh.
I'm not going to participate. Otherwise, no. Otherwise,
I mean, just to show everybody how
You know,
easy
If
it
we
is.
should,
I do
we
not
should
want
give
them to
Patrice
feel-
a bicycle now to ride from here to Children's Park, you know, we have to get an ambulance on standby in between.
you see, Mawuena, I know you are the only one who believe me.
Oh, we believe you. We believe you, Pan. We
Bicycle.
believe you.
You rode a bicycle from here to
Paga. Yeah.
Interesting
fair.
stuff.
We'll,
Well,
on it's the 28th and the
the 28th
29th.
and the 29th,
We'll
Told You
give-
Ghana
we'll-
is back.
Patrice, I'll use legal terms. You robe.
Really?
You ride for us.
Okay, fantastic.
No problem. That's fine. I mean, since you're, I mean, but
You'll
the
be
point is that there has to be a
subpoenaed.
caveat.
Where the caveat is what?
All the other riders will not feel belittled by my presence.
No.
They will not feel like I'm far more overexperienced.
There will
and
be
I've
nothing
done
like that.
More than them. So I needed not to have been a part of
We need to.
the ride, but you guys have just thrown
we
me
need
in.
to give you a new name, Mr. Bicyclette. Monsieur Bicyclette.
Ah.
Monsieur
Oh,
Bicyclette.
Monsieur Bicyclette, Charlie.
Monsieur
Ah,
Bicyclette.
Ça c'est bon, merci beaucoup, mon ami. That's it. So just let them all know that what I'm doing is non-scoring. I'm only motivating them. So there are times that I'll go ahead of them. There are times that I'll come back all the way to the last person.
The caveat is
and then-
providing to show that Oberry.
No. I'm only saying that I would come back to motivate the person at the last bit of the queue. Then I'd go back to the front just to let
Patrice,
them
from,
know that
from the way he's explaining
Yeah.
himself without
Yes.
evidence, it looks like he'll let them start an hour before.
I can do that, but you see, it's teamwork, right? We're all going as a group, as a team, so I need to motivate them.
So let them
Otherwise-
start an hour ahead. You know.
Well, you see, the speed with which I'll be coming from behind, it may startle them.
Hey,
Some
Patrice,
may fall off.
choose
and all that.
Patrice.
So yeah.
Patrice, choose your words.
Right, okay.
In any case.
So the speed with which I'll be
coming.
I'll be riding. It's okay.
Please, let's get into the papers this morning.
Let's do that. But I do want to say this year we're looking forward to it. The grand prize is 25,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
For the rider that emerges.
25,000
Ghana cedis.
Ghana cedis.
And then you also get the bragging rights. And of course, we unveiled the jersey, the winner's jersey yesterday.
Okay.
Very beautiful looking kids for you to walk away with.
I want one.
From Accra to where precisely?
We're going from Accra to Kwewu,
first.
day one.
Kwewu.
And so we'll actually do it in two parts because the person that rides the fastest from Accra to Kwewu may not necessarily also emerge number one from Kwewu to Kumasi.
Because of fatigue.
So we'll have two legs of the competition. The first rider also who arrives at Kwewu will get a package, and then the overall fastest speed coming from Accra to Kumasi will get it. We also have packages for the fastest female, the fastest youngest rider, the fastest oldest rider.
Great.
We have some differently abled persons who join us each year. Shout out to you. And we'll also have that category who comes in first. And
For people
we're
like
looking forward
Patrice
to it.
being a commercial rider, are you sure he'll be happy with the package?
Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll have to start somewhere. You know, getting sponsorship for Tour du Ghana and other non-football events is not easy. So let's start slow. We know we can't afford them, but it take.
But I
Patrice,
do not want to.
you must bring us some very good sponsorship.
Yeah,
for
so
the next one.
what I intend doing is that I would rather donate to the person who would win.
You donate your bicycle?
Oh, not my bicycle. I mean, the person may not be able to ride my bicycle because of the the high
It's
end,
custom made.
So there are certain things that
Patrice,
on the bike that
let's get into
he may
it.
not be able to operate. So that's.
Let's get into it. Patrice and the magical bike. The News Center newspaper this morning. Detail-driven news. Why U.S. prosecutors linked access $42 million fee to alleged bribes? Full story, we're told, is on page 9. Mahama shakes up national security with new appointments. IMF urges quarterly power tariff reviews. Full story on page 12. I know Patrice doesn't even want to hear this. 400 new jobs, airstrip roads take off. SDA church to rescue government abandoned Agenda 111 projects. Interesting.
Well,
that's the SDA wanting to do so. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
They've asked churches and some other groups to come in and provide support to help complete some of the Agenda 111 facilities.
Okay.
Because
the churches?
Yeah.
Dr. was recently saying they should build a cathedral.
Actually.
I'm assuming his statement was to the Christian community, not to every Ghanaian, because, I mean, we are in a time where we're just transitioning from a crisis phase, and it's not our priority right now. But I understood his call to the Christian community. So would they prefer building Agenda 111 hospitals or support building them, or they would prefer building the cathedrals like he proposed? It's a question for the gods.
Maybe we'll put a poll up on our socials and we'll find out. We'll gauge the temperature on the ground for the Christian community. Where do you want to put your money behind? An edifice to the glory of God, or some projects
facility
that can, help the community. Anyways, the Ghanaian Times this morning. Lawyers cannot shun vacation trials. Deputy AG Dr. Justice Remsai is pictured here on the front page. Get Fund launches furniture appeal for schools. Some 100 million cedi fund to drive agriculture transformation launch. Special courts, not political witch hunts. And that's the Chief Justice there speaking.
For the Informer newspaper, Galamsey steals Ghana's children. Pupils abandon classrooms. 4,000 Ghana cedis mining jobs. GBA warns Chief Justice over legal vacation rules. MPP heats up over Berko bribery case as SEMSI demands disclosure of 2013 power deals. And the banner headlines, minority 22 billion loss, minority interested in accountability, gold board excesses. Afenyo tells Sami Jemfi, citizens must feel economic recovery, government told. GAUA strikes over pay gap. And then on the back page, the back page captures the NPP heats up over Berko bribery case. For the Custodian newspaper, AG opposes bail for Wontumi, pending appeal. CJ rubbishes GBA concerns on legal vacation. U.S. investigators flag $42 million for Ghanaian firm in AXA energy deal. MPP accuses CJ of partisan conduct. SDA offers lifeline to abandoned Agenda 111 projects. That's
I think we should get a bit more in detail in terms of details on that story. Are they taking it over completely?
There's a story here. Let me just touch on it. The Ghana Adventist Health Services of the Seventh-day Adventist SDA Church has offered to partner the government to complete some of the unfinished Agenda 111 projects across the country. The commitment was made when a delegation from SDA Health Services, led by Dr. James Entry, paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, to discuss opportunities for collaboration in healthcare delivery. The delegation presented a proposal outlining 4 priority areas in which the SDA Church could support the health sector: trauma care, holistic wellness, oncology and cancer treatment, and rehabilitation and other health services. The proposed partnership is aimed particularly at strengthening healthcare delivery in underserved communities and expanding access to specialized medical services. So that is just a hint of the story.
So, I mean, it doesn't disclose whether they are assuming, okay, because the headline suggests a lifeline for the projects.
Yes, government seeks private faith-based support. Mr. Akando said partnerships with faith-based health institutions and the private sector were essential to addressing the increasing demands of the country's health. He said government alone could not meet all the healthcare needs of the population and therefore encouraged institutions such as the Christian Health Association of Ghana, CHAG, and SDA Church and private sector operators to support the completion and operationalization of Agenda 111 facilities. The minister commended the SDA Church for its long-standing contribution to healthcare delivery, particularly in underserved communities, and welcomed its willingness to support the completion of health infrastructure. He said government was prepared to provide guidance to organizations willing to take up specific Agenda 111 projects, stressing that such partnerships would involve direct support for completing the facilities rather than financial contributions to government. Mr. Akando urged CHAG and other private sector organizations to identify specific projects and areas where they could provide support so that the government could facilitate their participation. 6 regional hospitals planned. The minister also disclosed plans to construct 6 regional hospitals in the newly created regions as part of efforts to improve access to healthcare across the country. He said provision had been made for 3 of the 6 hospitals to be constructed this year, with the work on the remaining 3 expected to begin in 2027.
Right. That's fair enough. I think there are still a bit more in terms of modalities before we can say that a specific hospital has been taken over and is being completed by a church or anything like that. Any more papers?
Yes, for the Daily Guide.
Daily Guide.
Edubuahine trial judge insists on legal vacation hearing, and Sawyer committee got growth 82 registration date wrong, 4th estate. Damang mine for failing promises, 400 locals employed, airstrip, roads underway. Shake up at national security. AG opposes Wuntumi's bail pending appeal. 2 arrested for killing man at Tuba.
Wow. So I have the BNFT. The BNFT this morning says a Greek Education Fund, GAFET, targets 100 million Ghana cedis. And then trade grew nearly 9-fold to $52.5 billion from 2024 to 2025. The Source newspaper says that Protect Adamus, don't gag it, Bentil to Lands Minister. And also, bribery scandal, prosecute implicated officers. This is coming from the NPP. The Daily Gist this morning says, Asante Beko conviction opens can of worms. Martin Amidu exposes government in AXA bribery scandal. And the bold banner headline says, shake up at national security. Mahama hires experienced hands, sacks coordinator's brother. The Herald this morning says, NPP's Katie Hammond dodges accountability in $1 million Dumso era bribery scandal. And then NIMOS arrests 40 over illegal mining, excavators, guns, and 128,000 Ghana cedis seized. The Supreme newspaper this morning says NIMOS arrests 40, seizes mining equipment across 6 regions. Adamus loses 3 mining cases. And Naomi Alabi appointed curator for Homo Festival in New Jersey. There's one called the Daily Update, which says that court throws out Chede's application in Kola Holding and awards 20,000 Ghana cedis costs. You will cross-examine witness if your lawyer fails to appear, judge to Edubuahine's wife. And Women in Leadership says, know the law before you travel. A caution to Ghanaian women seeking opportunities abroad. Also, Vice President calls for holistic approach to tackling Kayaye challenges. The custodian this morning, okay, it's been done already, Daily Guide done. Publisher. So the publisher says SDA moved to rescue Agenda 111 after months of government neglect. NPP accuses Chief Justice of weaponizing the courts. Adenta Dodowa road users cry for help, the same as Gulf City road users. Naomi Alabi named curator for 2020 US Homowa Festival. The Punch this morning says, build police quarters, get more personnel. Regional commander tells Mankranso DCE. And don't overlook ear discomfort. Early care can prevent complications. This is coming from one of the top herbal medicine doctors. KMA bans tree felling without approval. Don't I just love this directive? Felling of trees. It is done without approval in Ghana. And that is one of the major things that disturbs the ecosystem. Anyway, good morning to a young man called Eriku's Papa for sending in the newspapers. I don't know if you did the insight.
No.
Okay, the insight says from poverty to opportunity. Vice President pledges support for Kayaye. This Kayaye, they're in trouble. They've been promising since 12 BC. Every day we have this for Kayaye, this for Kayaye. Anyway,
towards the end of the last administration,
they built something.
And they had passing out. I don't know what happened after that. Some of them had iPhone.
Why do we need Kayaye?
13 and all during the passing out. I say,
hey, Iran commends Kwesi Pratt for courage journalism. Wow. Anyways,
I might not be forgotten. They had the
they had the
Kayaye Hotel.
Someone is asking Patrice if the bike they ride is an electric bike.
Oh no! I don't do electric bike. You see, electric bikes enhance your movement, and I don't do that.
Yours is
I like to do resistant cycling. So I want it is power. It's a lot of power. So it's power activated. That is what I like to do.
Right.
You get it. I don't do electric and all those things as K and so do.
You should see
manpower.
You should see Helen's face. But let's proceed with the papers.
Really? Yeah. Okay. So Metro Lens says, you people just don't know.
Unbelievers.
$42 billion AXA bribes. How US investigators expose the consultancy's bribery scheme. My question is that why is US so much interested in certain things like this? Because,
why shouldn't they be, Patrice?
Well, you have charged somebody for something.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's okay. Let's leave it there.
Why should we leave it there, Patrice?
Because when we get into the US itself, what is their standard of operations?
It doesn't cancel out wrongdoing.
No, I'm not saying it should cancel out.
Yes,
you have said it. Fine.
It is what it is.
Let us move on.
Yeah.
You get it? You're going to convict the person.
What's your problem with the US?
No, I don't have a problem with the US. I don't have a problem with the US at all. Who am I? Am I Iran?
And what are your expectations of the Ghanaian
outcome?
Institutions? Yeah.
No, there are so many. You see, there are so many things that come to the fore when it comes to corruption. Mm-hmm. And when you are to read the corruption index of all the countries in the world, US stands out all. You get it? I'm not saying they should not. I'm not saying we shouldn't arrest people or prosecute people who are culpable when it comes to issues concerning corruption. But I'm saying that the flooding of our pages is just too much on a matter that we all know.
No, I should tell you it's a matter of national concern, and it is what it is. If you've looked at the sentiment analysis, you'd realize it's a matter of national concern. So Ghanaians are not at fault to speak largely on it. Anyway. These days our expectations for anti-corruption is very high.
Oh, it's very, very high. That one I agree. But I mean,
particularly because this is a government that came
it's becoming
into
one
power,
too many.
Championing Operation Recover or Loot, ORA.
Yes.
So the expectations are high.
So all loot. Okay. Yes. Anyway, let's recover all.
And that's
loot.
why we've seen our Attorney General do what he does. Going after those he has to go after. We were saying Aina was not doing this, was not doing that. Now he's doing what he has to do.
Yeah.
And we have a problem with that too.
No, we don't have a
We
problem.
have to be fair.
We'll get into the arguments as to the legal vacation.
Daily Graphic this morning says Galamsey destroys 60% of rivers. Scientists raise alarm over implications. And then poor court administration erodes public trust. This is coming from the Chief Justice. And SNIT targets 2.8 million active members by 2028, and has got the picture of Kwesi Afre Baini, Director General of SNIT. Kwesi, good morning to you. I hope you're keeping well, and we wish you all the best in this initiative that you intend to drive. So that is it for this morning.
Online portals quickly. That's what I'm going to take us. 3news.com leads with Ghana Auctioneers Association blows alarm over unauthorized letters to circumvent established auction procedures. That should interest a lot of us. I'll get us details of that. More than half of Secundi's 2025 District Assembly's common funds spent on unapproved activities. MP cites Assembly as authorizing. It's not complete. Education Ministry denies plans to make Arabic compulsory in Ghanaian schools. NPA, I think there may have been suggestions they were seeking to do that. NPA mourns its deputy CEO, says the petroleum downstream has lost a gem. Legal vacation. Chief Justice's defense is unconvincing, legally unreasonable. The NPP is saying this. I'm just reading a story in relation to it.
Right.
MyJoyOnline.com, the top story. Private citizen drags Chief Justice Attorney General to Supreme Court over legal vacation.
Yeah.
Right? Why these two cases? Atachia questions Chief Justice's expedited trial order. Ghana, Burkina Faso signed defense pact to secure cross-border trade corridors. Also, judiciary must win public confidence to protect democracy. NPP accuses Chief Justice of partisan bias of a vacation trial warrant. And also, Ghana's tomato ginger shortfalls deepen import bill, CSIR researchers say. And vacation courts can handle substantive matters. Young Lawyers Forum challenges GBA position. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The Young Lawyers Forum is actually an umbrella body under the GBA, and they are challenging the mother body's position that the vacation court should not be hearing substantive matters. Also, Ghana spends $168 million on tomato imports. Ginger dependence exceeds 99%. It's according to
wait, what does that mean?
CSIR.
99% of the ginger comes from elsewhere.
I'll get us details on that story.
Ginger.
CSIR.
Voila. Now, Kontumre, where do you think Kontumre comes from?
Anyway,
It
to
comes
the
from
extent
Togo.
that Yemwadie.
Yeah. Kontumre comes from, you get a lot of Kontumre from Togo.
So that's on citynewsroom.com. Let me do Ghana web
So
quickly.
but every day we are growing things here. What are we even growing? We are growing things.
Growing what?
What is growing
Where?
here?
Growing where? On large scale, you don't match up. You don't match up, not to Burkina Faso, which is a Saharan region that is growing strawberry and all those kind of things. I mean, I had an interview with a past, what's the name?
A Greek minister?
No, not a Greek minister. High Commissioner, Israeli ambassador, Israeli ambassador. And he was telling us that, look, it is very easy for Ghana to learn from Israel, the way they grow things. Within this room alone, you cannot imagine the tonnage of tomatoes that we can grow. What they do is that they do the vertical agric farming.
I think the other day we spoke about urban
on this
farming.
wall, you can grow tomatoes all the way to the top, all the way to the top, all the way to the top, all the way in here. And you'll be amazed at the produce. You'll be amazed at the outcome. So it looks like we are not ready to learn anything. Because if we want to bridge that gap when it comes to food produce and reserves and all that, these are very easy things. My point is that, like we keep saying, do not invent the wheel. Go to where the best practices are already existing and they are doing well. Then you follow up on that. Simple.
Right. I'll get us into the story so that I'll pick a few more comments. Ghana, where Prophet Bedu Kobe reportedly hospitalized after collapsing. Apenyomakin speaks on calls to become Baomia's running mates. Citizen drag Attorney General, Chief Justice to Supreme Court in relation to the legal vacation. Atacha hits back at judge of a legal vacation saga. Inside the Secret Service, shell game to hide U.S. president in plain sight. Right, I have a few of the stories that I'm going to get details of. I think I will start off with the tomato and whatever import. So Ghana is spending at least $168 million annually on fresh and processed tomato imports, while a disease outbreak has pushed the country's dependence on imported ginger beyond 99%. So there's a disease outbreak on the ginger situation. The figures presented by researchers at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, highlights the scale of Ghana's import dependence in two key horticulture commodities and the foreign exchange costs associated with weak domestic production. The researchers disclosed the figures during the second session of the 2026 Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology Innovation Visibility webinar series held under the theme CSIR's Interventions on Tomato and Ginger. Dr. Michael Kwabnose, Principal Research Scientist and Vegetable Breeder at the CSIR Crop Research Institute, said Ghana's annual demand for fresh and processed tomatoes exceeds 1.4 million metric tons. However, domestic production meets only about 15 to 18% of that requirement. Fresh tomato imports, mainly from Burkina Faso, are estimated at between 100,000 and 120,000 metric tons annually, costing Ghana about $18 million. Processed tomato imports, largely from China and Europe, are equivalent to an estimated 400,000 to 450,000 metric tons, estimated at $150 million. More than 60% of fresh tomato imports enter the country between November and April, when domestic production falls sharply during the dry season. Good morning to the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, the Honorable Eric Opoku, and then his deputy, John Dumelo, right? Special good mornings to them. And there's a reason I'm saying good morning to them, because somewhere this year, Burkina Faso issued a circular that export of tomato from out of the country was to cease. That resulted in a near pandemonium among traders, because they said, hey, if you're not getting tomatoes from Burkina Faso, where are we going to get it from?
Right.
And there was concern and what have you. Obviously, the Ghanaian authorities intervened, had conversations with Burkina Faso and what have you, and that ceased. But there was a promise that was going to be reversed in the next planting season. So, good morning to them, because I suspect the next planting season has already kicked off. Are we going to see that same situation? Are we going to see an increase in the production, particularly between this November and April, when production drops, which creates the dependence? Words which were spoken to us, we want to see action. So special good mornings to them.
Yeah, we need to invite John Dumelo or the minister himself to the studio to come and tell us. We've been on
that
yes.
campaign for a very long time.
So you see, like I keep saying, when we're going to recruit a chief justice, we're going to recruit Supreme Court, whoever, whatever. We have things that we say to those people. It comes back to the same point. Otherwise, it becomes like one-sided drum that we're beating. How many times haven't we discussed this matter on radio concerning low values and volumes of foods that we need to import from other countries? So sometimes, what am I supposed to say? I'm a mere citizen of this country. All I do is to watch the space and comment on it. Others have done similar. Others, even with more experience, have done similar. CSOs have said a lot that they need to say. My point is, to what extent do we bring those in charge, those who have been put in political office, to what extent do we bring them to book when they do not deliver? Question 2 is, on what basis are you going to hold them for not delivering? Delivering on what? You don't have a plan for tomatoes. You don't have a plan for carrots. You don't have any plan for, protein production. You don't have any plan for it. So how and why would you say this person has reneged on their responsibility as head?
Go to their manifesto. At least that's the working document.
Great. So when you come to the manifesto is a working document of a political party based on their whims and caprices.
No,
you can't hold them to it.
In the interim, and yes, I agree.
You can't hold them
to
it.
We've been having conversations as to a national plan and all of that.
Thank you.
And the fact that it's not being followed.
Yes.
Agenda 2057. I always go back to it, Agenda 2057, because that's what we have now, right? Granted, it's not being followed. I think the other time I was showing us similarities and where they branch separately and all of that. But if you want to, and I know Imani does some work in relation to the campaign promises and whether or not they are living up to it.
Yeah.
On the score of the fact that there is no plan, the only existing document is the party's manifesto.
Which is flimsy.
That is what they bring to you and they say,
it is a flimsy
vote
document.
For me and I will do these things.
It is a flimsy document.
Right?
It's
so
a flimsy document.
We must always go back to it and say...
It's not a flimsy document.
It is a flimsy document.
No, manifestos exist everywhere else.
You see, the manifesto is not flimsy, Patrice.
Okay.
It is the execution of the manifesto that you can possibly call flimsy. Because, I mean, every voter or most voters decide based on the manifesto of the party they want in power. So we cannot just dismiss manifestos as flimsy. It is the execution that we usually question, and that is what we also usually hold them to account, because the manifesto is a catalogue of promises. And how those promises
vain
are
promises.
Vain
promises, and how those promises are going to be executed.
By even the National Development Plan, it's a futuristic intention of what should be. Projection.
Exactly.
Right. So all of the things in the end will come down to how well it is being implemented.
Can we not cap it? You see, my point is, can we not just cap it? It's just simple. And permit me to say common sense.
Because I don't agree with you.
If we want the country to progress, the same way we put certain measures in place when we are electing people, nominating people, putting people in positions of authority, we put certain restrictions. Why can't we do similar?
Look,
do you think that this country wants to develop? Do you believe that Ghana wants to develop?
I agree with you on that point you make. It's thought-provoking, right? That for certain positions, there are specific requirements.
Yes.
That guide who should occupy the position. In other positions, there is no specific requirement, and it is left open. That's open to debate as well, right?
Because we talked about that the other day, whether or not that allows for flexibility, in that if we were to restrict the criteria, we might be missing out on maybe personalities who have what it takes but don't necessarily have that criteria. But I agree with Patrice to the extent that we've tried that method and clearly that isn't yielding results. Yeah. So let's go for the option where that foundation is laid, so that at the very least we can expect that you understand the fundamentals of ABCD in the specific field that you've been placed into, so that certain things are, quote unquote, a no-brainer.
Here's what I'm going to say in addition, just briefly. Whether, businesses, right? When someone is being, when you go through an employment position, there are specific KPIs. It's a job,
the criteria, right? For you.
It's a criteria.
Job description, everything, qualification and all.
Sometimes it feels like the positions are not seen like the way in private big corporations and all of that things are done. Yeah. Right? Because
that is in a company like Coca-Cola is striving.
Yeah. And you go to elsewhere and they tell you the country is being run like a business. Yep. It must make profit.
As it should, because you have government entities making a loss year on year, and you think these particular individuals who are at the helm of affairs, were they a private business, would they continue to just be relaxing, making a loss year on year, still buying expensive cars?
So National Insurance Commission, do you think that the topmost engineer in this country can head National Insurance Commission? On what? You don't understand insurance. Yours is engineering. That is what I'm speaking to. Medical practitioners.
Meritocracy.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So the head of the Ghana Medical Association, you think an agriculturist would be made the head of it? No. No, it must be somebody who has direct knowledge. You must know something about it, if not a lot about it. Otherwise,
but
you're beating about
Patrice,
the bush.
In certain circumstances,
yes.
also within the political parties, they have working committees prior to winning power.
Yeah.
You know, they have committees.
We've seen the NPP's recent committees.
They have committees that are organized around certain key sectors. And within this organization, it becomes a learning process for some of them who are later appointed.
But
I understand that the value is not the same, but just so that we understand that, it's not just a vague appointment. They always believe that the person has some sector knowledge and can be assisted by a technical person. And we have seen that it has often yielded very little results, and would love that it transitions from that. But Patrice, don't dismiss a manifesto.
Oh, I will.
Yes,
let me tell you something.
It's a catalogue of promises. It's a catalogue of how those promises will be delivered, and it is also a reference point for voters, you know,
I would
to look at the
dismiss
promises.
a manifesto
and then
500% any day, anytime in this country called Ghana. My point is that it is a state that we are dealing with.
But without a manifesto, how do you understand what they say they will do?
So they are what we call, they are dawdling. That is what they are doing. They are playing, I almost said something. they are playing with it. With nothing in sight. That is what they are playing with.
What are they playing
with? I think what the problem
because
is.
The political parties, they are excited over the fact that there's no end in sight. These people say, let's go. Where are we going? Remember the Arab Spring. Get him out, get him out, get him out, get him out. For who to come and replace them? Look
what
at
difference
those
will it make when we know what they will do?
No,
Jaco says it in a song, you know. What difference will it make when we know what they're going to do?
Yeah, it makes a lot of difference when you know that Ghana is planning to, let's say, Agenda 111. Ghana has planned that by 2028 we would have 111 hospitals. In your manifesto now, because it is something that is in, we have constitutionalized, or there's a legislation to make it stand. In your manifesto, you tell us how you are going to ensure that you build 101 hospitals by this period of time. With what funding, and what are you doing? What are the technicalities involved? Then we know. When somebody talks about, oh, Palugu tomato factory, we don't have it, we are going to build it in Commander Sugar factory, we are going to do it. Don't just listen to it out of there. So there was a time that it was Park Western Doom and the late Professor Mills, and it was what they call the presidential debate. I was listening to them and people thought that, hey, these guys have spoken. These guys, I'm like, they didn't say anything. Because tell me that Palugu tomato factory, we need an equipment that is valued at $200,000. It's over 10 acres of land that we can do. It can employ 14,000 workers and engineers, 16,000. We can do 2,000 of this and produce this tonnage. When we produce this tonnage, this is what will be released on the local markets. This is what we can export, and this is what we can for the future. Give me a total figure. So in all, we need $20 million to run Palugu tomato factory. I will salute you. But don't just come and tell me that Palugu tomato factory is there. Nobody's in this thing shoe factory. Don't be open about it.
Right. You know. I've been listening to you and trying to appreciate the point that you make. And granted, there is some elements which you're very right about. But I think it will still come down to how well things are implemented. Because the example you cite, someone can tell you it will cost $15 million to do X. They'll come and do not do it. And there's absolutely nothing. It's an appreciation of you and I, both citizens and whoever, putting our hands to the wheel and exacting accountability. Because the example you cite, I'm just going to give you one further example of what is what's happening right now. We've been promised an expressway. We've been told how much it will cost. In fact, work and all of that is starting. There is funding, we are told, which has been purposely made available to it and all of that. Right? That's an example of a plan which we've been told how much it will cost and everything. What's left to do? citizens asking the questions, demanding accountability and seeking to get an understanding as to whether the project is making progress or not. The point is, there will be working documents, there will be plans. We can't say that manifestos are not important because, and I agree with you, it should be elevated beyond just we will do X and X and X. We can elevate what the manifesto is to a finer, more concrete plan as to detailings in cost and well thought through project. Because sometimes when you pick the documents, they just mention Ghana has suffered. Even the National Development Plan, it just stipulates what needs to be done by X date, right? Some of it, not everything. We will need a refined approach to how to deal with problems and what interventions are required at each stage. That I agree with.
Have you ever seen any political party manifesto say we're going to elect 2 presidents?
No.
Have you ever heard them say?
I'm just agreeing with you on the point that we need
I'm only adding to
details.
It. Have you ever seen a political manifesto say
I want us to move on to
we're going to have 3
matters.
chief justices? Have you ever heard any political party say that we're going to have what's the name? 4 MPs? Have you ever heard any political manifesto say that we're going to have 6 vice presidents? They can't say that because the National Constitution 1992 says that there shall be 1 president, there shall be a vice, there shall be a parliamentarian, and so they can't go out of it. So what I'm saying is that let us put reins over these political parties so that in their manifestos they will tell us exactly how they are going to implement whatever promises they make to the people.
Fair. Any story of interest, Helen? I'm sure you have a story of interest.
I've had the center spread of the Ghanaian Times open for a while now. I know it's one of our major conversations this morning, but I thought we'd lay the foundation with this story so we know what to expect when the time comes. Lawyers cannot shun vacation trials. Dr. Justice Sremsai, he's the Deputy Attorney General, he's speaking here, also pictured in the center spread. Now, the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Justice Sremsai, has said the Ghana Bar Association's position on criminal trials during the legal vacation is not supported by law. He said the decision to conduct proceedings during the annual legal vacation rested with the bench and that lawyers could not unilaterally absent themselves from court during the period. Dr. Sremsai was responding to a petition signed by the president of the GBA, Mrs. Ifwa Gate, to the Chief Justice, arguing that vacation sittings should be restricted to urgent or interlocutory matters and that lawyers were not compelled to attend during the recess. That's an interesting choice of word. Compelled. Is that really the case? Okay, I'm quoting him here. He says, "There's no genuine or real controversy here," he said. "The matter is simple. It's been the case that vacation courts are always sitting whenever there's a legal vacation. No one can dispute that simple fact." He dismissed the GBA's president's assertion that an established convention barred vacation courts from conducting full trials as completely false and unsupported by law. And the story goes on, and of course, we'll be talking about that in some details as we proceed. Any surprises there that a private citizen is?
I think what the private citizen is asking
is taking the CJ to task. Any surprises?
The arguments they make is that the legal vacation is unconstitutional because it impedes justice delivery, amongst other things. It's become important because of the politicization of the conversation right now, right? Suddenly we're being told that the legal vacation must hear only interlocutory matters or applications and not get into the substantive cases, which evidence is suggesting that it's not the case, right? Evidence is suggesting that that is not the case. So we'll see how that suit plays out. But there's a general conversation as to what is happening with the respective cases and why arguments are going in the manner in which
who empanels the judges?
The vacation, yeah.
No,
I mean, he issues.
So the point is that
he issues a warrant for vacation
exactly.
judges to sit.
So it's a weighted kind of thing. Look, let us not belittle a lot of things that is happening in this country. So, what is the ratio of the citizen or a lawyer to a citizen in Ghana? Is 1 to 5,000. It's 1 lawyer to 5,000. Meanwhile, globally, it's supposed to be 1 to 250 people. That is the general thing that is accepted. Now, since 1963, when we started getting people into the legal fraternity, we have over 12,000. Over 12,000, close to 12,000 lawyers. And we are saying that, look, there's not many of them, but the lawyer cannot go to work every day, or the judge cannot sit every day and not take a break. It's a lot of brain work. You get it? It's a lot of brain work. So when they say there's a legal vacation, well, unfortunately, your case fell in there. However, what if a judge adjourns your case to a certain period and it is over 2 months? What say you? There's nothing you can say to that. So the legal vacation is over 2 months, right?
Yeah,
there are a month too.
Yes.
So no problem. So if your case is adjourned to that period, that is fine. Now, if they say that your case can be heard during the legal vacation, it is the responsibility of the Chief Justice to empanel. And are we saying that those who are going to be empaneled will have a vacation mind so they can't
the argument being made is that there's
a grand agenda. So if we expand the conversation, if you listen to members from the New Patriotic Party, according to them, the optics appear to be that this is a grand scheme. This has been engineered to ensure that cases that concern the political opponents of the ruling government are expedited. That is the long and short.
Legal vacation.
During the legal, that is the long and short of the conversation that has been catapulted into the
This is becoming a joke more.
Let's fact check.
It's becoming a joke. Yeah.
I've been reading.
Yeah, let's fact check some of these claims.
Great.
I'll start with legal vacation means the High Court should not sit. You know, we've heard that in the narrative.
That's false.
Yes, that is false. The fact on the record is that Order 79, Rule 1 of CI 47 expressly provides that the Chief Justice may appoint any day, including vacations, for hearing of causes or matters as circumstances require.
Thank you.
The second one is August 1st to 30th is the legal vacation. It is true. Order 79, Rule 4 establishes the long vacation, but critically, Rule 4 begins subject to Rule 1.1. The vacation, therefore, operates subject to the Chief Justice's power under Rule 1. There's also another that has been said. The Chief Justice has no power to authorize a judge to sit during vacation. That is also false. The Rule 1.1 expressly gives the Chief Justice that authority. Sure. And then there is lawyers can decide that proceedings cannot continue because they are unavailable during vacation. It has not been established by the rule cited. CI 47 places the power to appoint sitting days in the Chief Justice, not council or professional association. That does not eliminate legitimate applications for adjournment based on council circumstances. But the established fact is it has not been, And then we've also heard there is a binding convention that vacation courts never conduct trial. This is a claim requiring proof. GBA letter supplied in this matter asserts a long-standing practice that vacation courts handle emergencies and interlocutory matters rather than trials. But the existence, exact scope, and binding character of that asserted convention require evidential and legal establishment. And then a convention can override Order 79. We have heard it. It is legally doubtful. An asserted practice cannot simply erase the express wording of a valid legislative instrument, or the 79 expressly contemplates hearings during vacation. We have also heard the Chief Justice controls the court absolutely. That is false. The Chief Justice heads and administratively supervises the judiciary, but the judiciary itself is subject to the Constitution. Article 125 says judicial power is vested in an independent judiciary subject to the Constitution. We've also heard that once the CJ issues a vacation warrant, fair trial objections disappear. It is false. Article 19 separately protects the accused person's right to a fair hearing and legal representation. A lawful sitting can still produce a constitutional problem if the manner in which proceedings are conducted materially prejudices the defense. We've also heard an accused person has an absolute right to stop proceedings whenever chosen counsel is absent. It's too broad. Article 19 protects representation and a fair hearing, but the right must operate within judicial case management and lawful procedure. It is not automatically equivalent to an unlimited power to dictate hearing dates. And then we have heard the controversy is really about whether courts may sit in August. Misleading. The written rules already contemplate vacation sittings. The sharper constitutional controversy is what a court may fairly do when retained defense counsel declines or is unable to attend. So the bottom line is that C147 does not shut the courts during legal vacation. Rule 4 creates the vacation subject to Rule 11, and Rule 11 expressly empowers the Chief Justice to appoint a day, including during vacation, for the hearing of causes or matters. So the stronger legal battle is not simply can the court sit, it is how far can the court proceed without defense counsel before the constitutional right to a fair trial is impaired.
I think a lot has been said, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, so the point is that there's legal vacation. I mean, that is what is due everybody within the legal fraternity. I don't know how they feel about it, but I mean, everybody needs to take leave. Number two, who is saying, I'm surprised. I need to be fully seized of the fact that it is the NPP that is crying that legal vacations have segregated certain judgments and rule in favor of people who are seen to be on the other side. It's just convoluted.
We heard from Samuel Atachia, and that was his, firm position.
You see, let us not. You see, it is not right for us to be doing these things to a legal fraternity that you belong to. You have served under it for so many years. You get it? And for us to be saying and pointing fingers at certain judgments because it's appointed unto man. There is a time that things may go a certain way. You may add 1 and get 2, but the answer is wrong.
But there's a consistency problem, and the consistency problem is that these vacations did not begin with CJ Bafuboni.
No. Legal vacations have been there since 12 BC.
They've been there since. I mean, the vacations have been there, and
yes.
In August 2023, under the then Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono, 12 of the 42 high courts at the Accra Law Court Complex were specifically designated to operate during the legal vacation.
That is it.
Significantly, the list included Criminal Court 1 and Criminal Court 3, alongside commercial, financial, land, and general jurisdiction courts. Justice Tokono also subsequently defended the legal vacation itself while recognizing the Chief Justice's power under the rules of court to designate courts to sit notwithstanding the vacation. That history matters. It would therefore be difficult to maintain that the mere act of a Chief Justice authorizing a sitting during
vacation suggest.
People will say simpliciter, right?
Today I've not heard Helen say a lot of things.
I'm
going to end with an opinion, right, by Manasseh Azuri-Awene.
Okay.
In relation to this matter, because he's been writing on his website, and it says that, put differently, what the lawyers are trying to do is to opponilize the cases.
Which is?
Praying for a favorable outcome of the 2028 election to enact their own version of Operation Create All Looters, which the NDC executed at the dawn of the administration that is now spearheading its Operation Recover All Loot. As an investigative journalist who has uncovered major corruption scandals without seeing them resolved, I lean towards speedy trials. Legal vacations, which the experts have described as being vacations for judges and not vacations for lawyers or cases, are an impediment to speedy trials. I have no problem with the Chief Justice's warrants for judges to sit during the legal vacation. For this reason, this write-up is not to advance arguments. And he says a lot of what case says in relation to, but there's additional detail. There are 26 judges which are sitting nationwide during the vacation, according to the warrant which was signed.
Legal vacation doesn't mean law has ceased. That's what people should not forget. Yeah.
And he makes a very interesting point that in a country where the justice system is extremely slow, we cannot afford to lose so much judicial time to legal vacation.
That I disagree with.
By the second week of October, the judges who are currently on vacation will have returned and settled, while those who are sitting during the legal vacation will go on leave. At the time the judges who will be proceeding for leave in October return, Christmas break and other end-of-year interruptions will be beckoning. This means that if Kwabena Dubois and Hanan Abdul Wahab's cases are not called during this legal vacation, when the judges hearing their cases are sitting, there won't be any meaningful progress on the cases for the rest of this year. That will help Stephen opponalization agenda, but help Ghana's anti-corruption fight. I'm laughing because of the way he says Stephen opponalization of the cases. But that's one argument, or that's one leg of the argument, really, which there hasn't been attention, or people have not paid attention to.
People have paid attention.
If we don't, so that's the argument he's making, that if we are to agree with the argument by counsel for these two, and the substantive cases are not heard during the entire legal vacation, when the legal vacation ends, those judges who are sitting on the cases will now take their vacation, which means the cases will still not be heard. And by the time they return from their legal vacation, the Christmas break, so essentially for the rest of the year.
How is it so?
No,
I don't understand it.
So let me explain. And this is the argument being made by Manasseh, right?
Yes,
that
I disagree with the argument.
That as we speak now, the lawyers for Abdul Wahab, Hanan, and then Kwabena Dubois say that don't hear the substantive matter whilst the legal vacation is on because it's a break.
And what has the Chief Justice said to that effect?
No.
Or they're only promising?
No, it's not about a promise. It's an argument they are making. Okay. It's a request.
Yeah.
And Manasseh is arguing that if you accede to that request, it means that for the rest of the year, potentially, those cases will not be heard. Here is why. So their request is granted that the legal vacation, you not hear the case. So August, September, they'll return in October. So those cases will not be heard during the entire legal vacation. Now, when the legal vacation ends and the rest of the justices return, the persons who are sitting during legal vacation go on their break.
Those who are sitting during the legal vacation,
because
are they the same people who are supposed to be dealing with these two matters?
Yes, they are the ones hearing the substantive matter. So they will now go on their break. So
what were they doing during the legal vacation?
Patrice, I think you are not following the argument.
No, I'm following it because if during the legal vacation, you said the cases should not be heard. So it's not going to be heard. So they will come and hear it after
the legal vacation. Yes. But you see, the legal vacation, within the architecture judges don't get any break the entire year. So the legal vacation is when they take their official leave.
Great.
So when the official leave is being taken, because justice delivery cannot be suspended, there are vacation judges which are appointed.
Great.
And the expectation is that the vacation judges, whilst they are hearing other matters in relation to other courts, must hear their own cases.
Of course.
Right? Now, the argument being made by the lawyers of some of the accused persons is that legal vacation don't hear the substantive cases. And I'm saying that here is the argument being made by Manasseh why their argument should not be heeded to. That if you grant their request and you don't hear their cases during the legal vacation.
After the legal vacation,
those judges are entitled to also go on a break. And then it will mean that for the rest of the year, the case will also not be heard until possibly January of next year, which will affect the fight against corruption. So it's the argument is making that we should not pay attention to them, and that the cases should be heard, because those judges, after the legal vacation ends, will now be entitled to go on leave themselves. Then you would have created a long vacuum where the cases are not being.
Justice Bafubon, over to you. I think he's the best person to deal with this matter. But I think
I wanted to do this story about auctioneers blowing alarm over unauthorized letters to circumvent established auction protocols for vehicles and other things. So the Ghana Auctioneers Association is appealing to the Ministry of the Interior and other relevant regulatory authorities to investigate and clamp down on the growing practice of unauthorized auction procedures across the country. So people are circumventing auction processes for their benefit.
Anyways, I've heard very little about that.
Maybe we should speak to someone on that on this auction subject, because this auction conversation has been a long existing one. There are institutions that have always or auctioneers that have always pointed out the shortcomings within the system.
Anyways, I would want to congratulate somebody who is employed. I hear 400 locals. So that is the Damang mine. And the chiefs and people in the community are saying that all promises that have been made have been started. So congratulations to Ibrahim Mahama for good work being done thus far. 400 locals employed, airstrip and roads underway. And they claim, per their report, that they've seen it. So for me, these are the practical things that I would like to applaud. I am seeing it. The promise is being effected. It is being put on the ground. So congratulations again to Ibrahim Mahama. And good morning to Uncle Julius. I'm at a few, and you're also listening to us this morning. He says he's loving what is going on here. So that
absolutely.
Is it.
Mutala is here. He'll do sports for us. And after which we'll return with has
Ghana won the women's something?
We were kicked out of the quarterfinal stage.
Oh, really?
We didn't progress past
we
that
didn't
stage.
but
at least
they went
a better effort from our Black Queens.
No problem. They've done well. Yes.
So thank you guys helping us do sports. Let me see if a bit more in terms of messages, particularly on Facebook, right? As to some of the things we've been talking about, even as Mutala comes around to do sports for us. Daniel Idua Fare says the GBA is just an MPP annex. What did the GBA say when Apenyuma can some of these claims? So Daniel writes a lot. He sends quite a lot of messages.
Okay, that's beautiful.
He says, good morning, Eric, and the rest of the team. Watching you live from Doha, Qatar. I must say you guys are doing fantastic. Are doing a fantastic job. By the way, welcome to Helen. He welcomes Helen back.
Yeah.
And so he's excited about the fact-checking we have done on some of the claims.
That's great.
As well.
That's great.
Whilst on end.
Tell him to take photos of the roads in Doha and post them to us. So we live by
So Daniel, if you're listening and you want to do that, 053-220-0927 is our WhatsApp number. 053-220-0927 is a WhatsApp number by which you can
take photos of roads in Doha.
And not just Daniel in Doha, but you as well who's listening listening to us, from wherever you're listening to us from. You're always an important part of the show, and so always make it a point to be a part of our conversations. And we love hearing from you and listening to you as well in relation to the different matters.
I want K to write a book that will be taken to the primary schools and secondary schools, that JHS and SHS, for us to learn a lot about the history of our various ethnic groups.
We'll get into that. Murtala Yakubu is here. He'll do sport for us right now.
Let's now do some sports here on 3FM's Sunrise. My name is Murtala Yakubu. Coming up this morning, it's official. The 2026 3FM Tour to Ghana has been duly launched, and we'll be talking about that as well. As the season progresses, a lot will be happening because club football in Ghana will be back soon, and we'll be talking to the communications director of Mediema, that is Benjamin Willie Graham, who was talking about what the club is doing at the moment. Nations FC's coach Zafko Lugaros has also spoken ahead of their campaign in the CAF Confederation Cup. Let's now settle for the details and start off with the biggest news in Ghana at the moment. The ride is back, and this time it promises to take cycling across Ghana to new heights. The official press launch of the 3FM Tour de Ghana 2026 was held yesterday, Tuesday, that is August 11th, at the Best Western Premier Hotel in Accra, bringing together key stakeholders and dignitaries, including the Minister for Sports and Recreation, Honorable Kofi Adams. Powered by 3FM in partnership with the Ghana Cycling Federation, the tour is expected to spotlight sports and excellence, promoting sports tourism and encourage green transportation as well. 3FM Tour to Ghana would be the biggest event this year in the country, and we have more in the following reports.
Akosombo, Oibi, Cape Coast, Kwewu and Aflao. These were the final destinations for the 3FM Tour de Ghana in their previous 5 editions. On Tuesday, an official launch for the 6th edition was held at the Best Western Hotel in Accra with the theme Ride the Rhythm. The event included a number of dignitaries, including the Minister for Sports and Recreation, Honorable Kofi Adams. He praised 3FM for the continued work around the competition and reiterated his commitment to supporting other sports like cycling.
Athletics, swimming, boxing, basketball, and many other disciplines. And our responsibility is not to create the opportunity for all of them to develop and not limit them by focusing heavily on football.
Investment and the right partnership. I believe the 3FM Tour de Ghana can become one of the sporting events that Ghana proudly presents to Africa and the world.
Head of station for 3FM, Lois Kisiedu, believes the competition, which will span 2 days, will be exciting and extremely competitive.
Every single year, even when organizing this event has been incredibly challenging, it is about promoting healthy lifestyles as well. It is also about showcasing the incredible beauty of Ghana.
Over 100 cyclists are expected to feature, including paracyclist Kweku Ayesu Bosman. Set to participate in his third 3FM Tour du Ghana competition, Bosman aims to be the best amongst paracyclists this time.
I am on fire. I am joining it. We are closing it. We are finishing it. And then that's finishing of the deal. We are racing from Accra to Kumasi this time. And you know, I am doing it. Last time I did it. This time I'm finishing it. The last time I was second position. This time I want to close it. I want to finish it.
The cyclists will pedal from Accra to Kwehu on August 28 and move to the finish line in Kumasi on August 29.
Of course, there you have it, a lot on what will be happening with the 3FM Tour du Ghana. It's the biggest event that will be happening in the country later this month, that is the 28th and the 29th. This time they've extended it for 2 days. So it is Accra to Kwehu, then from Kwehu to Kumasi. That will be massive for a lot of people. But let's move on and do other stuff, because a lot is happening with the club football. Mediama are already setting their sights on the CAF Champions League with preparation underway ahead of their new campaign. The club has begun registering players for the competition, while others are also ensuring that they integrate themselves into the system. Mediama Communications Director, that is Benjamin Willie Graham, has been speaking, and he's talking about the fact that they are ensuring that they go and make Ghana proud at the tournament, and we'll be hoping to see what Mediama brings on board. But Nations FC would also be representing Ghana, and they are making steady progress in their preparation for the new season, with head coach Zdravko Lugarozic encouraged by team's development so far. The Croatian tactician says the squad is gradually adapting to his methods as they build towards the CAF Confederation Cup, while also placing emphasis on player development and overall team improvements.
Few problems in the beginning. We have so many players, 40, 50, and then last week, few days ago, we cut some numbers. Now we are staying on 26 players, 22 keepers, 22 players and 4 keepers. Let's see how things will go. Step by step, we are still expecting 1 or 2 players, and I think we're on the right track.
How has the process been so far, shaping up the players and the
it's not easy to come to work in Africa. It's not easy to come to work with the team you never met before. And but step by step, I think we're adapting properly, and then let give us a bit more time to, because proper observation can give us a proper idea what we have to do later. And we are hoping we're gonna make proper observation to see our weaknesses, what we can improve very short time, because African games are coming very soon. Yeah.
Zdravko Lugarozic is the head coach of Nations FC. Now we go to Morocco, where the women's WAFCON is currently ongoing, and Goldfields has a message for our Black Queens.
Champions are not made on match day. They are shaped by belief, opportunity, and the support of those who stand beside them every step of the way. As football takes center stage around the world, Goldfields proudly continues its more than 2 decades of support for Ghana football, backing our national teams and helping grow the game. Goldfields, creating enduring value beyond mining.
From the Black Stars, Black Queens, the Black Challenge, the Women's Premier League, Goldfields has remained committed to the growth and development of football in Ghana, supporting Ghana football since 2005. Goldfields Ghana proudly stands behind the Black Queens at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, that is the WAFCON, and wishes them continued success as they continue to inspire the nation and make Ghana proud. Goldfields creating enduring value beyond mining. The 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations has reached the business end with just 4 teams left standing in the race for continental glory. As we march into semi-final, host Morocco will lock horns with Cameroon, whilst at this tournament surprise package, that is Malawi, would also face Algeria in the place for the final. While Malawi performance may come as a surprise, it's something that prolific forward that is Temwa Shawinga has always believed the country could achieve.
Yeah, of course, because like every player in Malawi, every citizen of Malawi, we are waiting for this day, like should be here. So like I appreciate, like, I thank God, like I got fire and come here to AFCON. It was 10 years ago, like my first like tournament I played like friend of Tanzania. After that we went like 2017 in Zimbabwe for like in Zimbabwe. After that, like it was not like we didn't put enough funding on girls like in Malawi, like national team. We are not getting like enough support. But now like we're trying our best, like give us support, like to be there. So that's why like now like you see every player putting an effort like to qualify to be here. So I'm just working hard. And like so a dream was like go to World Cup, but like every young child in Malawi, like you're waiting for that, like to be in the World Cup. Like this is just like a step by step, like because I've never been here, but now we are here. We're performing good, like every player we're putting like effort like to qualify to go to the World Cup. So we're just trying our best like to be there, like to show some talent. Like we have like talented young girls in Malawi, like we can do it better, we can go to European country like teams to play there to perform good. So like I'm happy to be here.
Temwa Shawinga, one of the stars of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations that is currently ongoing in Morocco. She's scored 4 goals so far for Malawi, and today they'll be taking on Algeria in the semi-final. Now, still on the continent, former Sierra Leone Football Association president, that is Aisha Johansson, has called on FIFA boss Gianni Infantino to step down from his position. This comes in the wake of Infantino's proposal to sell a stake of the World Cup to a private individual.
Again, like I said, this is where I think FIFA, Gianni Infantino, has to look at the powers that are given to a football president. Did Gianni take upon these decisions to be made alone? Were these powers that were, given to him, this is something that he could do? Did he cross the line? Well, clearly it seems that he has crossed the line. And the football fans, everybody, including myself, when I heard about the proposal, I said, this is a no deal. It's a no-go. You can't do that. So, I think, we have to start looking now at what happens now. The dialogue, is it broken down? Is there room for dialogue? I hope so.
Aisha Johansson there calling on FIFA President Gianni Infantino to step down from his position. Before we go, let's turn our attention to Europe, where the new club season officially gets underway. Today was the UEFA Super Cup final between Aston Villa and Paris Saint-Germain. Ahead of this crunch encounter, Aston Villa boss Unai Emery brings a plenty of experience to the occasion and says he's confident his side can actually do the job today, which is not going to be easy for them at all because they are coming up against one of the best sides in the world at the moment. A lot will be happening, and we'll be keeping an eye on every single minute that we play, especially on all our socials at 3 Sports GH, where you get the latest updates. My name is Mutala Yakubu. The show continues after this.
alone should help you appreciate why. I know you do. Maybe we need clearance for it, but there are a lot of the listeners that I've engaged who say they would love to.
So we'll have a conversation in relation so that maybe we'll curate a special time, maybe 10 minutes.
Yes, it's very important because it's like you don't can them. I always can you in and then give you what I believe you should hear. You to tell me what you want to hear.
That's why
the criticism.
That's why I like to share the WhatsApp message a lot more as well.
Yeah, sometimes
for person.
Do you know what I've missed? I've missed us going on a branded bus. In the mornings.
And then you be on a bus in the morning.
Yes, and we were giving you free rides
that's good.
to your destination. And I'm hoping we can bring that back because how exciting was that? You hop on, you share your views, we give the microphone a little cocoa to soothe the throat.
I have an issue with DJ Phil. Sorry.
What has DJ Phil done?
DJ Phil.
I have an issue with DJ Phil.
What's the problem?
He has. Since I came in here, I've never heard him play my girlfriend's song.
What song is that?
Miss V.
Miss V.
I've never heard him play Miss V song.
What Miss V song?
When did Miss V become your girlfriend?
I've had a crush on Miss V since.
So
you're dating her in your head.
Miss V, he's never played.
You're dating her in your head.
Miss V. You want a Miss V sing my name?
You've never played Sing My Name. Please.
So of the female musicians we have in the space, she's number one.
Miss V is my everything.
And who's your number two?
Miss V is number two.
And who's number three?
I have the song here, Sing My Name, right? Featuring Rankin.
Featuring Pat. Oh, please.
Yeah, so we'll use that as a bridge, and then I guess we'll join us.
If you play that song, you'll be shocked at what will happen.
We'll get into some conversations.
Just play that.
We'll get into some conversations for you this morning. I'm going to play it. So we'll use that as a bridge. 3FM Sunrise right now.
Conversation on 3FM Sunrise. The big conversation on 3FM Sunrise.
Now, today on the big conversation, we're talking three important matters. A raging controversy over legal vacation and whether there is suggested bias in relation to the operations of vacation courts, right? And so one of the major subjects for conversation. Then the minority is demanding investigations into the dealings of Gold Board. We're asking if that is justified. And then I'll pick quick thoughts as well in relation to the president's shake-up of the National Security Council as well. My guest in studio, Ebo Bachman, is Deputy National Communications Officer or Director of the United Party, is a regular with us here on the Wednesdays. Godfred Nanabuachi is a member of the NPP's National Communications team. We're expecting Mark Ewusiako as a convener of Election Watch Ghana to join us, and Eric Dela Alifo is a member of the NDC's National Communications team as well, expected to join us. But Godfred Nanabuachi and Ebo Bachman are both in studio. Gentlemen, good morning to you. I trust at all as well.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Peaceful night, peaceful rest.
Yeah, I didn't rest. I had a very short night. I slept after 1.
Oh,
yeah.
We're in the same pot, eh?
Yeah, so I still owe some debt I need to clear. so today I will sleep early.
You sleep
just
early?
To make up for the...
But I'm hearing today it's a game between either PSG and Aston Villa. I think the UEFA Super Cup or something. Yes. So that will be of interest to a lot of the guys. I don't think I
really don't have interest there. So I only watch football matches that I have interest. If it's Barcelona match,
I knew you were going to go there because I know you're a very big Barca fan, and you want to follow up with them as well, right? While we wait for the rest of the guys, I think we can begin the conversation. Legal vacation brouhaha, and whether or not there is any room in terms of a support as to claims that there is some bias in relation to a number of the courts sitting. Whilst we are at that, a private individual, Elom Kwame Goni, has gone to court. And if you're a law student, you know Elom Kwame Goni because he took matter of chieftaincy and politics to the Supreme Court, and the court made determinations as to the fact that chiefs are not to participate in politics in the country, amongst other things. He's challenging the continuous I don't want to call it celebration, but the observance of legal vacation in the wake of this recent debate as to whether courts should be sitting and all of that. As well, the NPP has been writing through their General Secretary and suggesting that there is some bias, right, which is suggestive of bias, the fact that a number of these courts are sitting and wanting to hear substantive matters, amongst other things. And that's why I'll start with you, Godfred, as to what the argument really is. Is it a case that it's unusual, or you're just crying wolf because you should cry wolf?
Okay, a very good morning to you, Eric, and to my senior brother here, and to everyone listening to us, your cherished listeners, and to the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party, especially Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, the next president of the Republic of Ghana. So, like you rightly said, legal vacation and the brouhaha around it, and it is worth noting that it's not like the minority is on some sort of always challenging, no. And this morning I'm going to try as much as possible to set the record straight so that the Ghanaians listening to us would know where we stand and why we believe they should all join us in fighting what is happening today in Ghana. So, Eric, the position of the law is clear. I mean, when you look at the High Court civil procedure, the CI 47, the rules 2004, it is clear that after the second term, which is the longest term in the legal calendar, judges of the Superior Court, which is the High Court, the Supreme Court, goes on this legal vacation spanning, I think, 1st August to 30th September or so. And Eric, the concession is that, yes, we are not saying that this means that a complete shutdown of justice. You get it? That is why even necessarily we have vacation judges in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where the problem is. And this is why we all are, coming out to strongly speak against what is happening today. Eric, the major problem is when you have the Chief Justice issuing specific warrant to continue Edubuahin's case.
Did the Chief Justice warrant say that?
Yes, you can check out the warrant. And this was even reported by so many other, credible media stations and firms, as to when the Chief Justice issues a warrant to the judge there to, continue a specific case in the Edubuahin case, then, Eric, it raises a lot of questions.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to come in.
Okay.
I interject when there are matters of concern. So I'm seeing a copy of the warrant.
Okay.
Right, to one of the judges. It says, warrant to sit during the 2026 legal vacation. Mm-hmm. By virtues of the powers conferred upon me, I hereby authorize you to sit as an additional High Court judge at the Specialized Court 2 Law Court Complex during the 2026 legal vacation and conduct hearings. By copy of this letter, the Deputy Judicial Secretary or Court Manager, Law Court Complex Accra, is accordingly notified. Please accept my compliments. That's a copy of the letter which is sent. It's the same thing that is sent to every judge.
Yes.
Where in that letter does it say that?
So what I'm saying is that that judge, he's the one. I've forgotten the name. I think I should have written
Achibonga.
Yes, he is the one sitting on the Edubuahin case.
Yes.
You see, these are issues of questions, Eric. I hope you get it. So. And I believe that we need to be fair enough that we cannot say that a Chief Justice does not know that is the judge sitting on the Edubuahin case. He knows this. So you see, when you nominate a vacation judge, first of all, you have the Chief Justice issuing that warrant, like you rightly read, and thank you so much for reading it, to continue the trial of the Edubuahin case. Then that raises a lot of questions. Questions like, okay, so what is the interest of the Chief Justice in the Edubuahin case? Because, Eric, you know something? These are cases or these are trials that are involving high-profile members of, let me say, the opposition No Patriotic Party. In as much as it is not a law that trials shouldn't go on. But you see, Eric, I am not a student of law, but even when you go to parliaments and other places, there are things like conventions. And conventionally, during legal vacations, the High Court and other Superior Courts sit on interlocutory cases. You get it? So it is not law. It is not law that they should
sit on just interlocutory cases, or they also sit on substantive.
That is what I'm saying.
Matters.
By convention, ordinarily, that is what they sit on. So you hardly have them sitting on some of these trial cases. But Eric, this is where it gets interesting. When you have trial cases involving Edubuahin, when you have trial cases involving Chairman Wuntumi, when you have trial cases involving Hanan, and you have all these cases within this legal vacation period, Eric, I hope you are following the conversation, then the minority in every sense has the right to raise some of these questions. Because you know something, in the unlikely event that even Edubuahin is prosecuted, the conviction is secured, you know the questions he raises across board nationally, even on the international community, because especially when you have a Chief Justice issuing such a warrant at such a time like this. And you see, we are not just speaking out of a vacuum. If you look at the conduct and the mannerisms of this government, ever since they took the reins of power, when they started freeing their top government officials, cutting plea deals with their top government officials, even before Wuntumi, the ruling in the Wuntumi case, you had top NDC officials on Facebook and other platforms saying things like, you'll be prosecuted. he will be jailed. You see, when you say some of these things, then it creates the notion that, do we really have that sort of judicial independence, or there is some sort of executive influence over the judiciary? And I believe that, for the sanctity of the judiciary, because you see, our society is highly polarized. So when you look, the executive,
is that not the polarization you speak to? Is that not what you're taking into the judiciary? Because the curious question is this: that 26 judges, right? 26 have been written to and asked to sit as vacation court judges.
Yes,
it is trite knowledge that they do not sit only on interlocutory matters.
Yes,
they sit on substantive matters as well.
Yes.
So if the Supreme Court or the Chief Justice writes to justices, it's not every justice who is sitting on an oral case who's been issued a warrant to work during the legal vacation.
Yes.
So where from the perception that there's a special interest, it's just, does it not so happen that warrants were issued and these judges were asked to sit during the vacation, and they by themselves have decided that they will hear their own substantive matter? Because that discretion, it's not a discretion that goes to the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice doesn't determine by what date you adjourn a case to.
Yes, but you see, Eric, like I was saying, the Chief Justice, yes, does not give that discretion as to the date you adjourn a case to. That is true. But what we are saying is that we shouldn't also pretend that a Chief Justice does not know that some of these justices who received these warrants are actually sitting on high-profile cases involving top MPP officials. We shouldn't also discount that.
But the law does not.
No, let me finish. But then secondly...
I'm just saying that the law does not know partisanship.
Good. You see,
the law is the law.
You see, this is where it gets interesting. That is why I was trying to establish a point, that the mannerisms and conduct of this government, ever since they took the reins of power, and let me clarify that. You see, in the erstwhile government, we had a digitalized system that was doing the assignment of judges to some of these cases in the Superior Court. Eric, when this Chief Justice took over, we all saw that letter from the Office of the Chief Justice, which said that these cases must be referred to the Chief Justice. So as we speak today in Ghana, it is the Chief Justice who assigns these cases.
That was done under the previous Chief Justice as well, where she was assigning specific cases. So how different is it? Because it's something, and the point I'm seeking to make, I'm not seeking to equalize. The point I'm seeking to make is that they have that legal backing to assign cases.
Exactly.
They not. And it was done under the previous administration, where then Chief Justice Gertrude Isaba Tokono, even though there was a system which allocated cases to justices, also allocated cases to certain justices as and when she deemed it fit. Why was it not wrong then, but it's suddenly wrong now? It's a curious question that must be asked.
Good. In the previous government, we had a system running, we have the Chief Justice also assigning cases. But what we have today is the Chief Justice assigning these judges specifically. So what it means is that the system which ran on its own algorithms in the erstwhile government is not even running today. And that is where it gets more curious and it gets more interesting, and that is where the suspicions and the questions come in. I hope you get it. Because we also saw the letter from the Chief Justice when he took over the office, and we saw that letter he issued talking about he doing this assignment. But then secondly, Eric, you also look at the conduct of the judge in this specific case when he says that I've adjourned the case to 17th August. And not just that, he says, I'm giving you 6 days. Get a new representation or a new legal representation to oversee your case. You see, Eric, this is very problematic, okay? Because in as much as we agree that your right to personal counsel does not mean a right to a specific lawyer, even as much as we agree to that, we believe that in the stipulated time period, and also for the judge threatening to say that, well, if you are not able to meet this, I'm going to discharge the prosecution witness and permanently close the evidence, is something that, I mean, we find very problematic as far as the our judiciary is concerned. Because you know why? even if you want to give him that room to get that legal representation, at least, even in the event he decides to bring a new lawyer, the new lawyer is also by law allowed to have that ample time to study evidence and to study the case, to acquaint himself. So when you adjourn the case to 17th August, you give that 6 days ultimatum, and he says, if you're not able to meet this, I'm going to throw out the prosecution's witness and close the evidence. Then all these things are about the questions they are raising. You see, this morning, I don't want us to look at this conversation strictly from the point that, oh, it is the NDC in government, so whatever the Chief Justice says, whatever the judges say, well, we go with it, or it is the MPP in government. No, that is not about the equalization. For example, even if you give examples about Getru Tokuno, you sat in this country and labeled this woman or Sonomame. So if today, no, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not being specific. I mean, this is a general statement. We all heard them say these things. Unanimous FC or Sonomami etc. So if under even a so-called reset, you even propagate these things and do them worse, then what kind of country are we building?
Right.
So I believe that first off, the warrants from the Chief Justice in this specific case raise a lot of questions, because in the unlikely event that conviction is secured,
so
what are the questions that those things pose?
I'll come to Ebo shortly, but I just want to ask one more question in relation to this.
All right.
When you say the warrant raises a challenge, are you referring to the fact that a warrant has been issued for judges to sit during the vacation, or you have an issue only with the fact that certain judges which are hearing oral related cases are being asked to sit during the vacation? Is that the problem? Or you have a problem with the fact that 26 judges have been asked to sit during this legal vacation?
You see, it is not even about the number of judges. That is why I said that let's not pretend that a Chief Justice is not aware that these cases involving these high-profile individuals are actually part of these 26 judges. I don't care about
but they are justices of the High Court, and they are the disposal of the Chief Justice. I use disposal advisedly to appoint and decide that sit at this date when there's a vacation, and after the vacation you go on. I
get your points perfectly, but you see, in the event where even beyond just the legal representative of this individual, you have the Ghana Bar Association writing to the Chief Justice, raising some of these concerns. Then you ask yourself the most logical question. So what at all will happen if the Dubuahi case continues in October? What at all will happen if the Hanan case continues in October? What at all will happen if the Wuntumi case continues in October? You see, these are the questions we are asking, and this is the Ghana Bar Association raising some of these legitimate concerns.
Right.
So this goes beyond the NPP, and that is why I'm saying it's not about the number of judges. It's about the fact that we know that these are specific high-profile
I'll come back to you on another potential happening in relation to the arguments the NPP is pushing, but the Attorney General, that's the Deputy Attorney General, wrote in relation to this matter, right? And it's a position I want to share even as we both educate and even continue to have the conversation, that the law on legal vacations doesn't mean the court shut down.
Yes.
As you see from Rule 4, the legal vacation, that's CI 47, Order 79, Rule 4. That the legal vacation is by Rule 1.1 subject to the CJ's decision to give warrants to a judge to work during the vacation. Now, those seeking to rely on an alleged convention, there are two things we know about what constitutes a convention. The existence of a convention is a question of fact which must be established by evidence of two things: A, concerned practice, and B, opinion juris. That is, the uniform opinion that the practice is binding as law rather than a preference or convenience. The practice as we know it doesn't support the existence of such an alleged convention. CJs have consistently throughout the ages given vacation warrants to judges who have conducted trials. An alleged convention cannot operate to override an express provision of law. The express provision of law on the matter is Order 79 of CI 47. No law or practice gives a lawyer or our associations the power to determine whether court proceedings should go on. It's a position that the Deputy Attorney General shares. Ebo, I'll bring you in on this matter on legal vacation. Where do you stand on this? Even as we are seeing a challenge even at the Supreme Court that the legal vacation in itself renders the administration of justice it challenges it for a specific period when the vacation is on, and so it must be something which must be moved out of our books.
Eric, there's something. Let me greet you. Say good morning to you, my colleagues here, and our listeners. There's something I've been saying that it's about time we dealt with MPP as a problem, not just as a political party.
Why are you starting on that front?
I've been saying this consistently, and I think every now and then
they'll say these are sore
I'm
grapes.
being vindicated.
These are sore grapes from the fact that you may have left the party.
No, I'm
so
telling you,
are always able
and
to
you see,
take them.
anytime I start, I tell you when I finish, you understand the point I'm making. Now, the gentleman who just spoke, the MPP man, Boache, Nana
Boache.
He says the Chief Justice knew that those judges were handling high-profile cases. So those judges should not handle. If you are MPP person, your case should not be, handled by the court during the vacation. But if you are an ordinary Ghanaian, your case can be handled. Is that what you are saying? You see, they see themselves to be some special people. As for ordinary Ghanaians who are going through the same legal process during the vacation, it's all well and good. But if you're an MPP person, no, you deserve special treatment from the court. That is the position of the MP. That's what I'm saying. They are becoming a serious problem that we need to deal with as a nation. Because what are we talking about? We are talking about something that has been done by previous Chief Justices. Madam Tokonu did it in 2023. I think 1st August or so. About 12 courts were running during vacation. And so why should it be a problem? What is Atachia's problem? If indeed you have a good case, will it not be in the interest of your client that the case is tried speedily so that your client goes home and or have his peace of mind? Is it the case that the more the case stays in court, the more he makes money out of it? Is it the strategy he's using against his client? Because I really don't get it. And yesterday he was interviewed. He said he was not tired. He said, yes, I'm not tired. I'm really in my office working. I'm not tired. So it means he's intentionally doing that. And for what reason, only God knows, and he himself knows why he's doing what he's doing. Because, let me tell you, the MPP, they keep saying that when you came, you freed some of your people, you entered nolle prosequi and allowed some of your people to leave. You had 8 good years to prosecute people. If indeed you had good evidence, strong evidence against them, it shouldn't take you 8 years to prosecute people successfully. But after 8 years, you couldn't secure conviction, even one conviction, for all the people that you were prosecuting. If indeed those lawyers were using delayed tactics, what we are saying is that this time we don't want delayed tactics again. We want our court to expedite action on cases so that we clear cases up. I mean, look at the number of cases you have in court and the corruption cases. If it involves politicians, the case can run 8 years, 6 years, 7 years. It doesn't make sense. Yes, they are high-profile cases because the money involved are not small amount of money, and therefore we need to speedily act on these cases quickly and let if indeed you have a very strong case for your client, it should be in your interest that your client's case is dealt with speedily. And so I don't really get it, the point, because yes, I listen to him as if now lawyers want to determine when court should sit. Instead of allowing the court to determine, the Chief Justice to determine, now Atacha wants to tell Ghanaians that he has the power to determine when court should sit. I mean, we can't run this country like this. On the one hand, people who say Ora is dying. On the other hand, you said, why are you fast-tracking cases? This guy had the same problem. The previous lawyer, Apia Kubi, also had the same problem in the lawyer that handled Untumi case that resulted in Untumi being, imprisoned. He said the judge was moving so fast. Why must the judge be moving so fast? You see, if you don't move fast, we can't fight corruption. We can't be handling corruption cases 8 years, 7 years, 9 years in court and be successful in our fight against corruption. We need to expedite action within 6 months, within 1 year. Papa, you move as a nation. That's how it's supposed to be. And so if politicians want to use delayed tactics just to buy time, do you know what the implication of what Atache is doing? What he's doing, if it is granted that the case, his case will not be handled, when the judge, after 2 months, the judge will also go on vacation. It means for the next 4 months, the case will not be handled. So the case will be handled in January.
The judge is on vacation now.
Let me make the argument again. Now, he says he's not going to go to court. But the judge is still working during the vacation. So his case, he said, my case, all the other cases there, the judge can sit on those cases. But me, Atache, and my client, our case, because we are special human beings, don't touch our case. Now, what it means is that when, after the vacation, those who did not go on vacation will now have their vacation, which will take another 2 months. It means for 4 months, this judge will not sit on Atache's case until January. That's what he's trying to do. That is why I want to urge the court to still go on with the case. We don't have to allow people to be manipulating the court system, to be using delay tactics to as it were, to push cases to so many years. And it is not helping in our cause, in our fight against corruption. And it is something that should not be countenanced by Ghanaians. And I'm saying that the judge, I salute the judge. If the judge says, if you don't come, I will let Edu Boyen do the cross-examination. Yep. I salute the judge for that. That is how we're supposed to do. We have to detect the judge who sits on behalf of Ghanaians should be the one to be detecting the pace, not the one who is being accused. That he will be the one to be detecting the pace. So yes, I don't really get attached to the whole thing. If he really want to make more money from his clients, he should tell us that the more the case delays in court, the more he makes. That's some of the lawyers. That's what they do. They intentionally make sure that the case runs in court for years so that they feed on your case. If that's what Atache wants to do, he should stop. The man has already suffered. If he has a good case, he should quickly do it so that the man will go and rest in his house. Every day going to court or every other day going to court is not something that is palatable. You remember what happened to Yachikwesi? He was going to court every day and the MPP, Madam Tokono. Every day he was going to court. Today, these people are complaining. That's why I really don't get it. That's what I'm saying. It's gradually becoming a major problem for us to solve instead of them dealing with them as a political party. So, that's the court rule. We need to get our money. People must go to jail if they've done something wrong against the state. If they have not done anything wrong against the state, they should go home and rest.
Right. Kay, you have a quick intervention before I return to
Yes, my intervention first is you know the story about the pampered child, you know, who always has his way when mommy is around. Mm-hmm. And when mommy is not around anymore and there's a disciplinarian of an auntie at the helm of affairs, you know, wants to complain about everything. That is how the MPP is behaving in this matter. I mean, some of us have been the fiercest critics of the Attorney General and Oral, asking Oral to be up to speed, you know, advocating that justice delayed is justice denied. And now we have the acceleration we have been expecting. Now we have the utmost commitment of our Attorney General and his deputy doing what they ought to do. And now we have a judiciary that sees through the hearts of the people and are requesting that justice should be expedited. And we seem to have a problem with that. And, you know, my concern has majorly been, is it lawful or unlawful?
Right.
Because that answer determines whether or not this conversation is even relevant. This conversation is not important at all. Because what does the law say? Sometimes, you see, when we give too much room for certain things to gain momentum, see, they become news, they become important, they become relevant. What is the position of the law? Why I came in studio is it is part of our work here to fact check.
Absolutely.
And there were certain assertions that were made prior to me coming in. And that's what I wanted to speak to. There are 12 bullet points here that have been fact checked. One is legal vacation is not a court showdown. The Order 79 Rule 4 of CI 47 establishes the August 1st to September 30th vacation, but expressly makes it subject to Rule 1.1. The hard question we have to ask is, why are we discussing legal vacation as though the rules require every courtroom to close? Vacation is not judicial hibernation, and we must appreciate that. The second thing is that the CJ has express authority. Rule 1.1 says the CJ may appoint any day, including vacations, for hearing causes or matters of circumstances as circumstances require. The hard question here is, what provision of law says that power disappears merely because a matter is a trial?
Right.
Before we debate convention, we must read the rule. Now, the GBA has raised a legitimate concern. The GBA says vacation courts traditionally handle emergencies and interlocutory matters, not trials, and counsel should not ordinarily be compelled to appear. Is the GBA describing an enforceable legal rule or defending a long-standing professional practice? Because a respected tradition is not automatically a legal prohibition. Mm-hmm. We need to appreciate these things. There's also the convention must be established. Saying this has always been the practice is not enough. The GBA saying this has always been the practice is not enough. Right. The existence, consistency, and normative force of the alleged convention require evidence. Where is the comprehensive record showing the substantive trials have never proceeded during vacation?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there and come to Godfred, because I have as well with me a warrant, not a warrant, right, but evidence of trials which were taking place during the legal vacation.
There were 14 courts that sat.
The Chief Justice then, Gertrude Tokonu, gave a warrant to Justice Ifiasewa Saribotri, specifically to continue hearing the Atoforsen ambulance trial. In fact, there's a court document which is signed by Ifiasewa Saribotri, Justice of the Court of Appeal, who was sitting as an additional High Court judge, that although a warrant has been obtained for the case to be continued during the vacation on August 1 and 2, Mr. Sori indicates that he will need altogether 12 hours to conclude his cross-examination in view of the additional documents just filed by the prosecution. In the circumstances, we shall continue on August 1st and 2nd, 2023 at 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. each day, and then the 13th and 20th of October 2023, case completion plan prepared. This was under the NPP.
Okay.
This was under the previous Chief Justice, where the legal vacation, which was in August, at least in some days, full trials were to be had, or substantive cases were to be had. The quality grain assurance case as well, there were some matters which were heard at the time in relation. So the question then returns to the fact that is the NPP not being excessively political with this, where the evidence doesn't support the argument you're making?
Okay, so Eric, you see the problem even with that is that you then ask yourself, so now is it about equalizations? Because, beyond that, if the NDC believed enough that Justice Gertrude Tokonu was without blame and blemish, I don't think she would have been out now, right? So the point is that this same,
the argument is that
these same issues you are raising.
We need to fact check. We need to fact check what he said. It is not the NDC that got the Chief Justice out of office.
You let me
actions
speak.
and as enshrined by the Constitution. Are you better than the law? No, because you see, sometimes we must be measured.
You see, sometimes
we must be measured when we
must
be measured when we make some of these statements, because there are people who are also learning when they listen to us. So we must be guided by fact and truth, and that is what Media General stands for.
Absolutely.
Media General stands for ensuring that the truth and the truth alone receives
we were in this
that
country.
hearing.
We were in this
Fair
country.
enough.
We were in this
So
country.
I want you to make the point.
No, he will have to correct the point. He will have to correct the point because it is improper and it is wrong and incorrect for you to say
to suggest that the NDC got
the Chief Justice out of office. Do you have proof to that?
Eric.
It was a
When you
private
allege,
individual.
you must prove.
Daniel Ofori was a private.
When you say something and you can prove it, that's fine. If you can substantiate what you said right now,
so I'll allow him to make the point and see what point you're making and you're seeking to substantiate.
When you call the Chief Justice Osono Mami in opposition,
there's no Osono Mami in the law. We don't have Osono Mami in the law. We are talking about the law.
People are listening to us.
Yes, people are listening to us, and I'm sure those who are learning are listening and may be misinformed. So it's important that the premise of your it's important, Mawuena, that the premise of his conversation is grounded on fact and law. We are talking about the Chief Justice. This is the third arm of government. We are talking about the judiciary. We should not allow the judiciary to be undermined, neither under NDC nor the MPP. The judiciary must always remain independent. So if you sit on a radio station and you make allegations against the judiciary or a Chief Justice or a political party and you cannot substantiate it, that is carelessness.
Eric, back to my point. When you have the opposition,
right,
calling the Chief Justice Osono Mami, when you have the then opposition calling the Supreme Court unanimous FC, then you didn't know they were politicizing the judiciary. Then you didn't know they were denting the image of the judiciary. It is today you know. No, I'm coming. Let me make
I want you to proceed and then I'll come in.
When you have the opposition, when you have the ruling government, when they were in opposition, telling you that we are going to reset the judiciary, and when they come into office, the first thing they do is to lay down procedures. We are not ready to go into those.
But you see, when you say,
Mawuena, for clarity purposes, I want him to understand that I'm not a member of the NDC.
No one is saying you're a member of the NDC.
No, you're saying that when the NDC did it was okay.
So why didn't you challenge it?
Are you asking me when do you control my calendar? Are you the one who tells me?
That's what
No, wait. Have you followed?
Let me make my point. Eric, let me make my point.
Let me mute both microphones. Let me mute the microphones. No, wait. The microphones are muted. Okay. No, you're not a member of the NDC. That won't be a suggestion, right?
It makes us NDC or MPP.
No.
We are non-partisan. And when we sit here in the capacity of what we do, we do judicial. So he should not misconstrue my concerns, my legitimate concerns.
Which is fair. And I made you make.
And I'm making this emphatic.
No, I said the microphone is off, so relax.
I should have spoken to matters then. So what?
No, the microphone is off, so you're not. So let me.
Have you followed my advocacy? Yes, because
wait, okay. Let me go for this break. Let me go for this break. When I return, we'll get into a bit more in terms of a conversation.
on 3FM Sunrise.
Back here in the studio, 19 past 9. Godfred, I'm going to come to you, make the point, and then I can traverse, and then we'll go on to other
so
topics.
you see, back to the Chief Justice issue. The point I was trying to make was that
3FM
when you have the opposition then
92.7
saying things like the Chief Justice is an Osonomame, when you have the opposition then calling the Supreme Court the mother of all courts, unanimous FC, when you have the opposition then saying things like we are going to reset the judiciary, and then they come into power and then the Chief Justice is removed. We don't want to go into that conversation.
The reason I'm going to, you see, the reason, and I was going to come in anyways. The reason I'm going to come in is that, who is the individual who brought in the petition which led to the removal of the Chief Justice? And you see, there are specific questions in relation to that.
Okay.
That's why it's an area I don't want us to get into, because in terms of the architecture as to the processes in removing a Chief Justice, you and I both know that the president is just a conveyor belt. When he received the petition, he actually is supposed to refer to the Council of State for them to make a determination. When they make a determination, he doesn't, at best, all he'll do is he'll set up a committee which is supposed to look into the matter. So we can't.
Eric, if you are really getting my point, okay, it's like I am in opposition today, and then I start seeing things like.
Is this not the problem as well with the politics of the day, where both political parties, you're always finding means and ways to find convenient means to escape the ambits of the law, and so
the point is that
you disagree with the judiciary when you're in opposition.
Followed by the actions of their government makes it legitimate to raise some of these questions. And you see, some of these things is not necessarily no. You see, that's what I'm saying. That the conversation, the conversation is not a conversation of the process that was. That is why I am referring to pre-government, when they came into before government. So things they said. You see, that's what I'm saying. This raises some of these legitimate concerns. But back to the conversation. Respectfully. You see, my brother made a point. He says, "Oh, we had 8 years to prosecute some of these cases. Why didn't we do that?" I am not a lawyer, but in law, legal cases do not have a time limit. If I am right, we don't have an expiry date for crime. We don't have an expiry limit for legal cases. And it's more importantly, even when the Estiwa government prosecuted Sedinam Tamakulu, what has happened in Ghana today? So you see, when you say some of these things like, oh, why didn't you tell the NDC and today we are expediting cases? You see, when you look at the GBA's concerns, I made it clear here, and I think the clarifications that Kay was trying to give were concessions that we have made here, okay? And the concessions are that, yes, we know that legal vacations are not a break from justice, and I made that point clearly. But I stress on the fact that, and especially when you refer to the GBA release, it was about, you see, our society is not ruled by just laws. No. When you go, when you even go to parliament, I'm coming. No. You see,
Patrice, I want us to make progress. I want him to finish so that I can get.
Even when you go to parliament,
then I can switch.
Beyond the standing orders, there are conventions that govern parliament. You get that? So these are the conventions that even the GBA is raising in this case. That, oh yes, we are not saying that a legal vacation necessarily means that all trials must end.
But the examples are provided. Examples under CJ Tokonu, under Georgina Wood as well, where cases were being heard during the vacation. So it is not entirely new.
Yes, you see.
So it's not new, and so you agree that if it's not new, then where lies the basis for the concern? Is one of the questions being asked.
The point is that let's even bring it to like a layman's language. So when the CJ did it then, there were backlashes. When the CJ did it then, there were other voices of conscience that spoke against it. So why is it being supported today? This is just an objective question every Ghanaian must ask him or herself. No, this is very objective. Because Eric.
I don't recall there being criticism at the time.
I read write-ups at the time. So my point is that if those write-ups at the time condemning it, suddenly
who wrote those write-ups?
You see, I may not necessarily be able to sit here and recall names, but the point is
if you can't recall names, then don't cite it.
You let me move on. when it comes in, I can pull up these evidences for you. But you see, let me land on the ruling again from the judge, especially when he says that, you know what, I'm giving you this ultimatum to get this legal representation and all that. Yes. I believe that is problematic.
No, how is it problematic?
No,
I want you to explain. I want you to explain why it's problematic.
Legally, even if he decides to use a new lawyer, he needs adequate time to actually abreast himself with the issues at hand. You need adequate time to acquaint himself. So, legally.
No, Patrice, please allow him.
These are issues of fact. These are not issues of sentiment or anything. And you see, when I even raised this point earlier, Eric, you agreed to the fact, even in the event that Atacha is not coming back and Edubwine has to get a new representation, you don't say that he should study the case within this stipulated time, come to court on 17th and argue out his cases. You don't say that. So even that ruling alone in itself is problematic, because even legally, lawyers should be allowed that ample time, that adequate facilities to actually prepare their defense. They actually need to be able to acquaint themselves. So even moving away from the fact that this trial is going on, the CJ has issued the warrant and all that, I believe that even the stipulated time periods for the Edubwine case, especially in view of the current adjourning, is something that is not fair. Because like I said earlier, and I'm reiterating again, what will even happen if, let's say, the case goes to October? But even if not, in the light of everything that is happening, in the unlikely events that he's prosecuted, what do you think is going to inform? You see, and you see, this is very important, because the judiciary, okay, it doesn't matter your political class, your level, your status, the judiciary is what we have all come to believe.
It's a final arbiter.
Gives that sort of fairness. So when people actually begin to have problems, when people actually begin to have doubts concerning this judiciary, then what sort of society are we building? And it's when you sit on radio and talk about some of these things, people think that, it's just an MPP problem. But it is not just about an MPP problem. This is about the Ghana we are building.
The last thing I'm going to ask, then I'll give Ebo like a few minutes as well, so that we can talk about the gold board investigation.
All right, that's fine.
The judges who are sitting on this, on these cases, are not taking a vacation.
Yes.
If your argument is that they do not hear their substantive cases along with other cases which will come from other courts, if that were taken, it will mean that when the legal vacation ends, that is when their vacation also starts.
Yes.
It will also mean that the case will not be heard in the October you are mentioning, because then those judges will go on their vacation. Yes. And the cases will not be heard in the October as well. So in the likeliest of events, and if these hypotheses are anything to go by, it will suggest that the next possible date for hearing these cases will be January of next year.
Yes, but I believe that even if they have to go on their vacation in October, I do not think that we can't have other judges overseeing these
other
cases.
Judges cannot hear substantive matters in their cases, because they are the lords of those cases.
But the point is that even in the event they have to go on vacation in October, it means by December they are returning, because it's a 2 months vacation.
No,
what stops the prosecution from continuing then?
No, so the argument is that then there won't be the space and the room to have heard the cases even during the legal vacation and outside of the legal vacation. It's an argument that is being made.
I want to point out to you.
Right? No, I want.
But the point is that.
No, I want you to answer that. Then we can talk about the gold board investigation, which is being demanded.
I think when you listen, you see, I am not when you listen to the lawyer, that is Atachia, I don't think that is a problem. That is something they actually have a problem with. I hope you get it. Because the point is that even looking at the progression of the case, but what even shows that if they should come back to the case, let's say in December, the prosecution cannot continue, the case hearing cannot continue, they can still go back to the case hearing. So
the delay will not be a problem.
But what exactly is the rush? That is the question. Right. What exactly is the rush?
I mean, I think that's a fair point.
Yes.
Ebo, finish up for me on this. Yes, I want Ebo to.
I know there's a misnomer I want to correct.
What's a misnomer?
This misnomer that when a lawyer comes in, they must be given ample time and so on and so forth. No, it is not factual. In Ghana, that is not so. When a new lawyer takes over a new case, what you can do is to request an adjournment. When that is given you, then fine. But the judge can say, no, I am not. because you just have to be fully seized of the case that you are going to run.
Fair.
So you are not
it's not an automatic entitlement. Fair point.
Don't say that.
Ebo, come in for me so that.
In this matter, I am on the side of the state, and so speedy trials are what we need. We need to prosecute people speedily to get, either we get our money or they go to Nsawam or they go home. I don't believe in delay tactics. And I don't think Ghanaians have a problem with the judiciary. At this stage, it's the MPP that seems to have a problem with the judiciary. And so I want to reiterate that for what the judge has done, I salute the judge. We need more of his kind. One of the things that have made this country poor and poorer is corruption. And so when you are handling cases that involve corruption, you need to act speedily on those cases. We don't have to allow politicians and their lawyers to manipulate the court just to delay the cases so that in the most unlikely event that their political party come to power, then maybe they will be freed and all that. And let me also react to this issue of Sedna. You see, when you make a statement that Sedna was sentenced under the previous government, and look at what has happened with this government. Sedna was not jailed by the Akufo-Addo government. Sedna was jailed by the courts. She took the matter to court for an appeal, and the courts saw merit in her appeal. And the court it was the court that let Sedna, or gave Sedna the kind of the pronouncement or the judgment she had. It is not the government. Right. You see, as much as possible, let's protect the judiciary. If politicians would always have a problem with the judiciary because their members are involved or their members are before the court, it's going to be a problematic situation for this country, because when ordinary Ghanaians go to court, nobody speaks for them. They face the law as it is. But when a politician goes to court, then it becomes a different story, as if the politician is a different human being or a special human being. Let's all of us apply to ourselves the principle of equality before the law and the supremacy of the law, so that when you go to court and sentence is given, it is the court. It is not the government. It is the court that handed down the sentence and not the government. I think if we do that, people will begin to have confidence and trust in our judicial system.
In the judiciary. Well, 29 minutes to the top of the hour. Let me read this message. I think it doesn't come with a name. Krampa Bennett, right? He sends this one, says that NPP, this kind of strategy that you use in court to delay cases will not help you and it won't help Ghana. Is it the first time an AG or a CJ is telling the court to sit during legal vacation? You should stop behaving like this. We have a country to build. Stop that. We're going to switch to another lane and discuss another subject. But Sam Jerome is the Director of Public Affairs at Cocoa Board. Has joined us in studio as well. Sam, I trust that all is well with you.
By grace, we are so joyous.
Would you want to take a minute on a bite on this legal vacation before we proceed?
No.
Or you defer to the others?
I'm not interested in that for now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The minority is demanding investigations into the activities of Gold Board. Yesterday, the chair of the Public Accounts Committee, Abna Osei-Asare, made the demand. It's been backed by the entire caucus. They are asking that the president steps in to intervene, amongst other things. But I'm going to start with you on this one. This one I'm going to do 5 minutes so that we can try and make some progress, and then I can get quick thoughts as well in relation to the national security shake-up. Is that justification in demanding a presidential probe into the activities of Gold Board by the minority?
Okay.
Ebu, I'm starting with Ebu.
Okay. You see, Gold Board issues. I from where I sit, I understand why the Gold Board has become a target for MPP to always try to find fault or to bastardize a Gold Board and the man occupying the office. It is to be expected, if you look at what Gold Board is doing, I mean, in terms of the office's contribution to Ghana's economic stability, and the fact that the gentleman occupying the office, Amegashie, is doing, for me, is doing a fantastic job. So far, so good. And the economy is stabilizing. What would be the basis for MPP to campaign on the economy in the next election? If this economy continues to stabilize, what would be their basis? What would be their argument in terms of the economy? So Gold Board has become their nemesis, honestly speaking. It's like a Gold Board gives them nightmares. So any least thing that they want to attack Gold Board. If Abena really has a case, I mean, if she has evidence that something untoward financially has been done at the Gold Board, Abena should not be organizing a press conference or speaking to the press. She should gather her evidence and go to these investigative agencies and present it, that this is what I've seen to be a problem with the Gold Board. So investigate Gold Board. You don't organize press conferences and ask the government to investigate Gold Board when you have not provided any evidence, anything to suggest that there's something untoward happening. If you make reference to the fact that, according to the IMF, you have made some losses, of course, when Gold Board is the way they are operating, they are expected to be making some losses. Because you can't stabilize this economy the way we've done it at no cost. You have to stabilize at a cost. But the question is, what is the, if you weigh the two, what would be where would the scale tilt towards? The scale would tilt towards the fact that through Gold Board's activity, you've been able to rake in enough forex to stabilize this economy, and also to as it were, also